and hungover.
Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty.
Hello there.
Hello. I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator.
The beginning of everything.
Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, it's the Brink of Sanity, episode 223, and we have a special guest, Dustin, in the studio.
Hey,
Dustin.
what's going on?
So Dustin is a stand-up out of, well, you're in New York City, but you are not from New York City, right?
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest, but I never did any stand-up over there. I moved to the city to do stand-up, which, thank God for that, because the Midwest is pretty cushy. I mean, people are a little bit too nice. Plus, I don't think there's a stand-up scene in Hudson, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I figure it would be a lot easier to, like, offend people or, like, just do jokes that they just, I don't know. I feel like middle America doesn't get, like, New York humor.
Steven says the stream is frozen. Why are we streaming?
I don't give a shit. No,
Dustin, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
hit refresh,
say-
because it seems to be working on my end.
If I was living in California, I would say, "Oh, I'm out of where are you out of? I'm out of New York. I'm from New York." I find everyone from the Midwest doesn't want to name their town. They just say out of the Midwest.
Yeah, that's what I do. Well, only because nobody knows about the Midwest. Like, you would say the Midwest, somebody was like, Indiana? I'm from Wisconsin. I spent 7 years in Minnesota to go to school. But people just generally don't give a shit for, like, where you're from if it's to the Midwest. I met another comic out of Michigan. We're, by all intents and purposes, from the same place.
It's like you're near corn, right?
The audience is like, "Oh, what part of Wisconsin is Indiana, Iowa, corn country?"
Yeah, it's all the same shit. It's all mostly like coniferous trees. There's a highway, and a bunch of meth heads. That's where I come from.
You're gonna get really excited because in a couple of years, you guys are gonna get the internet. It's pretty cool.
Oh wow!
You're gonna hear about this new band, Motley Crue.
Did you know they have DVDs now, or used to? But you'll find out soon they have them.
Come on, they got DVDs. They just don't have Blu-ray yet.
So importantly, we have something coming up very soon that may or may not happen, and we're very excited it's going to happen, is the Illuminati is going to be calling us.
I really hope this happens. So this is been about 2 weeks in the making.
This probably won't happen. So to explain, LinkedIn is the website. I got just like those Nigerian scams you get everywhere else, apparently there's an Illuminati scam, I believe. Or I assume it's an Illuminati scam and not the gods have actually reached out upon me. But I got this invitation from this guy named, I can say his name because it's a whole thing scam anyhow, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The guy's named David Graham. He's an engineer, operations, and construction at some facilities and pipeline company, and says, "Invitation to the great Illuminati. Hi, you have been selected among one of the lucky 80 people to become part of the elite members of Illuminati. You are advised to forward your details to this number or email address if you seek fame, money, and power."
It's weird. I got the same email.
Same email. Then they ask for a bunch of really personal information like name, where you're from, your address, sex,
Amount of
occupation.
power desired.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, purpose of joining. So we were trying to get the guy to call the show. The idea being, if we call him, we can't legally record it and put it on the air. Though I'm not really sure what the law is about this, but Jay claims with his law degree that if he calls us, we can record it, play it anywhere, and screw him. So
That's
we're
the
trying to
rule,
get him
right?
to call
Like,
us.
if somebody calls you, you don't have to. You're allowed to like.
I have no idea.
Are you quoting the Constitution, Jay?
Well, like,
I have no clue. I read it I actually went to law school, and I have no idea.
Me too.
I went to law school in Minnesota, and this is where it's helping me with. No, I have no fucking clue.
well, the thing is, the Jerky Boys got away with it, and they never got sued. So,
That's true.
I think they put
As
out
far
ads.
as you know.
I think they put out ads and had people call them, and if you call somebody, it's allowed to be recorded.
Wouldn't it be great though if you got sued by the Illuminati? Like the entire Illuminati
that'd
came
be
together and
amazing.
sued you.
So maybe we'll just say this guy doesn't know we're recording allegedly. In theory, covering all our parody. This is satire. There we go. We covered all our bases.
Last week, I sent him we tried calling, the number didn't work, or something happened, or maybe it was a voicemail. I sent him an email saying, "Please call now, excited to join," and gave the number for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Then he replied, "There's a text was sent to your show. Text was sent to you. Reply my text." And we can't receive text because it's a Skype number. I'm not giving my real number because batshit crazy guy is going to do with my actual number.
We gave him the show number, 631-676-1181. Don't call in now because the lines are open for Illuminati.
That's if people are going to call anyway. Put our number on bathroom walls and ask people to call us, please. Anyway, so I have to scroll because Gmail groups everything together. So I was forwarding everything to Jay. But here, so he replies, just give me your mobile number so I can text you. And so we communicate there because I cannot make phone calls about the Illuminati at home when I am with my wife. As time goes on, I will call you when I am at the office. But for now, we can communicate on here or via mobile texting. I don't know why he had to change. If we're already communicating on email, we have to move to text.
Well, that's the next step up.
Well, that's how he got your number. Now he's got you on the horn, man.
Yeah.
So I just said to him, first I asked Jay if I could use his number, but Jay wasn't so up for that. So I just replied to him basically, hey, can we just do everything over email? My phone doesn't use text. Seemed like a reasonable thing to say.
I use a rotary phone.
Yeah. I've realized some of the emails I replied to because I have to have the little signature on it sent from my iPhone.
That's right.
Which I realized I was replying to an email from before.
Well, that's how you know this guy's really on the ball. Also, he didn't. I got the same email as you, and I filled out all the information. And I used Bobby Drake, and the address, I used the X-Men Mansion. So if he just Googled 1407 Gray Malkin Lane, Professor X would show up. So he obviously...
I can't believe he's not worldly as you about comic books.
Somehow I passed the test from his Supreme Master, and I'm now getting a certificate of membership. So
that's great, asshole. So anyhow, I asked him also why his wife can't be around. His reply was, she has not been selected yet. You don't join Illuminati, you get selected. Orientation and enlightening before you can become a member. I must say that you have done well by sending your details as required. I hadn't yet. Also, glad to let you know that you have passed the first test of obedience and secrecy, even without being told you are destined to be among the greatest.
So if you want to be rich and powerful, you need to be obedient and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I know you have a lot of questions, blah, 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 secrecy. My certificate will a membership certificate to become a Grand Master of God of Light, so you ask me any questions, blah, blah, blah. So we got to there. Hopefully it's not him calling, right?
No, that is not.
Okay. I have to. It gets funnier. So anyhow, then he realized I haven't filled out the survey. So I asked him if we can talk on the phone, and he said yes, that can be done, but I have to talk to my Grand Master, who is a God of Light. Your chances all depend on. I asked him also if my friend Jay can join, but I didn't use his name. Your chances of all depends on you, my friend. You are going to be tested to see if you are worthy of becoming a member. But first, you have to fill out these info so your membership certificate can be prepared. I'm almost 70% sure, 70%, who knows why, you become one of us, become one of the greatest men alive. As for your friend, send me his email, and I will discuss with my Grand Master about his desire to become a member. Do not tell him anything about our discussion. You should know that the Illuminati is all about secrecy. So you have to keep this to yourself. I will let you know when your friend has been contacted, but do not discuss any of this with him. So,
live on a podcast.
Does he know that he's going to be on a show, or no? He thinks he's just contacting you.
So I replied to the email he just sent me with the whole chain saying my friend is CC'd on the email. Hopefully we can join together. And he goes, do you mean your friend is already aware of this email?
Already fucked it up.
He'd be like, don't worry, my friend's a dope. He would just forget about it.
I sent him the entire chain. And I said, no, I thought I was just following your instructions and giving you his email. He is going to be quite excited if selected. I will fill out details later when I have more time. Then he said, okay, just send me his email now when we continue with our own orientation, my friend. So I sent his email. Then he sent me this long thing of, okay, friend, now we can continue with your orientation. One of the goals of being a member of the Illuminati is to make sure you achieve all your goals and dreams in life. But first, before this, I'm going to give you a brief orientation when we can start your training. Illuminati has 3 horned fold of my friend. There's a Lord of Gods of the Light. There is the Aderant members, like yourself. Now, when I read that initially, I thought he said adorable members.
Mark's reading comprehension sound like a 3rd grade level.
So I've been recalling myself an adorable member going forward on emails.
Hasn't called him out once. He mentioned adorable about 7 times over.
Haven't called me out yet. So something about when Earthlings, proper knowledge of Illuminati, blah blah blah. He says, as soon as your membership certificate is ready, then the first step of your training will be where an element will be sent to you with the address you provided. So I hope you send us the correct address, which I hadn't sent any address yet.
Wait, he's sending
What's
us
an element? What is that?
It's in the periodic table.
So he's just going to send us like a box of fire.
Yeah, he's gonna give you like just a bunch of ice that's gonna melt by the time it gets to you.
Here's
gotta
hydrogen. Because we don't want it to fall into the wrong hands. The day it will be sent to you, I will let you know, and after you complete your training, you will be rewarded financially with huge sum of money paid to your account every week. That is one of the perks of being a member of the Great Illuminati.
That's a good perk.
What a perk. What a perk.
We got your soggy cardboard box that used to be ice.
I need more elements. Screw this money.
Yeah.
Give me all the elements.
I want all the elements.
So-
That's my goal.
We were talking about not wanting to be in that scene from Seven where you get like your
What's in the
baby
box?
dead body. So we didn't want. I said I didn't want to have anything delivered to me because I'm just scared what the hell's going to be delivered to me. So I told him my wife checks the mail, and he says, "Don't worry, it won't get in the wrong hands. We'll have a courier agent that'll deliver it right to your. We'll call you ahead of time, deliver it right to your person."
I want nothing to do with a courier showing up.
Oh God, yeah.
How would the wrong hands know it's Illuminati shit? They'd be like, "Hey, look at this water. This is an element. I need this. This is Illuminati stuff."
So I told him I'm really excited to be an adorable member, but I want to make sure. I said this on the adorable word like 8 times on emails. But I really don't want to be like. There are a lot of fake Illuminati organizations. I want to make sure you're the real Illuminati organization. Can we speak by phone? And he goes some back and forth about how if I was really up for the challenge, I wouldn't need to question him.
Oh shit, he's got you.
And he's like, "Why? Well, let's just speak right now." And I'm like, "Well, I know it's Tuesday, but can we speak 9 p.m. on Sunday for some?" So I said, I really want to make sure I have the right questions to ask because I know how important this is. My father's always taught me to be prepared. I just need a few days to prepare for our call so I can make sure this is not an imposter Illuminati group. The opportunity almost sounds too good, and I would be so proud to be an adorable member. Can you have a phone call Sunday night at 9 p.m. calling the show so I can adequate time to prepare? And so he, where's the chain? Next to the chain. I wish I had this organized, but that would be part of being organized for the show. And he better call, really.
I really hope he calls.
So he didn't respond for a little bit. So I actually ended up filling out the form. I gave my name. I said I gave my middle name is Zeus. I said purpose of joining: crush your enemies, see them driven before you, hear the lamentations of their women. Anyone knows? You guys know what that's from, right?
I have no idea.
No.
Conan the Barbarian.
Oh,
What is good in
Before
life?
my time.
Crush your enemies.
he didn't even flinch at that.
He writes, "No, you haven't done anything wrong. I am busy, like I told you, and don't schedule dates for me. If you are really serious, you wouldn't be in doubt. I don't think you are ready for this. I already told my grandmaster of your situation, and he's aware of your doubts and games. Let me know when you are serious."
Oh shit, he pissed him off again.
I bet the Grandmaster of Form Processing must hate you.
So I said, I really want to get him on there. So I'm like, I think I just asked. It's pretty reasonable. I just want to speak over the phone to make sure this is real. I am honored to be considered to become adorable. This is a kind of break I've always dreamed of, as I've always known I was destined to be great. I would not ask to speak to your grandmaster, as I know that would be disrespectful. I will keep asking until you let me do it. Blah, blah, blah. So eventually he says to me, "Okay, I will wait for you, bust. I'll wait for you, but as you know, I'm a busy man, but you strike me as an extraordinary man and hope you will be able to fulfill your task ahead. I don't turn out to be disappointed. As for your friend, I already told my grandmaster about him, and he's approved and sent him an email." So I wrote, "That's great. I'm erect for the task ahead. I am glad my friend has been approved to become adorable. Can we do this call on Sunday?" Anyway, so
After all this shit you're putting him through, like, I really wanted to believe this was the real Illuminati, but the only reason anybody would stick with you at this point is because they wanted money.
Yeah. I mean, for my
I mean, this must be the dumbest real Illuminati member if he really is like, this guy is a great man. He knows about erections and being cute.
I wrote the word erect and laughed to myself for 15 straight minutes at work.
for my occupation, I put accountant/hero.
Okay, so here's where we are though. He just sent me an email. I hope you hi, hope you are ready because I will be texting you soon, and then I will call you to reply my text when I do. Why does he keep having to call, reply, text?
Because it's secret, man.
Oh God.
As I mentioned before, texting does not work on my iPhone. Please just email me a message. I'm very excited to speak with you tonight. So he should be calling in 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
When he calls, I would say for the best thing to be do, like you guys be quiet at first, and I try to get him talking.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell should I say to him? Dustin, you're funny. Tell me what should I say to him.
Ask him about the elements, because we don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
We need to know more about the elements. Say that you're like really interested in money, but you really want to hear about those elements. Play down the money stuff as much as possible, and be like, I need elements. I'm gonna need different. I'm gonna need air, water, fire, earth. That's the basics. Give me the basics. I'm gonna need a ceremonial knife, and I want it bejeweled.
Can you, if I could choose my element, can you send me a box with magnesium? Do you guys should I email him again and just say try to get like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. Get him
Okay.
excited. Get him erect about this.
I am brimming with erectness.
I don't know if it would be like, is it too obvious? I can't tell because he kept going along with you, but like you keep dialing up the absurdity of the whole damn thing.
About becoming brimming
You're
with
gonna
erectness.
you're gonna call. You're just gonna be like, I'm all greased up. Give me a call. Like it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be like legitimate for him.
He's put up with all
What-
of it so far.
The number to call. What's the number again, Jay? So 631.
676-1181.
Please email me any messages you need me to reply to.
Yeah, say this number doesn't get text, it only takes incoming calls. What we're gonna do is, since he only knows about you and kind of me, we're gonna alternate responding. And we're just gonna be one person.
I don't. I suppose that's gonna work.
Yeah, we should all. Justin, you get on this. We can all respond. We have to pretend you're the same person.
I don't know. I think my voice is pretty different than both of yours, though. That's gonna be.
That's fine. You're gonna be Mark. You're Mark. We'll both be Bobby. And since we sound so different, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
So just everyone respond to Mark and get really offended anytime he doesn't think you're really Mark.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Also, I just realized, like, consistency is probably not a problem because he's used to dealing with fucked up weirdos anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I sent it. I am brimming with erectness about becoming adorable.
Yeah, I really hope this guy calls. We need this.
Yeah, doesn't he understand we really need this?
We need this more
would
than
be-
anything. What's that guy's name? Steven?
Oh, what is the guy's name? I have to look at my LinkedIn page again. I don't know who gets this and is like, oh, wow, my career, my aspirations are, fuck it, boss, I'm quitting.
Shouldn't it be
They're
like?
sending me money to my account.
Shouldn't his name be like Agamemnon or something? Like something.
David Graham,
David Grant. That's such
which
a.
I am oddly now connected to on LinkedIn, which makes it even weirder. Because now he'll send messages to other people being like, your friend Mark thinks we'd hit it off in the Illuminati.
What if David Graham actually, pulled himself together and really worked hard and became the new god of light? And then we have a god of light named David.
We would feel like complete assholes that we passed up this opportunity.
That's true.
Yeah, what if it's real? That really would suck.
I'm
'cause
really
then I-
holding out hope.
If this is
Yeah.
real, the Illuminati's really just not good.
You get to the afterlife. God,
As opposed
like,
to what I was thinking before, the Illuminati was awesome.
Yeah.
you get to the afterlife. God's like, yeah, I gave you your opportunity, and you made fun of it on your stupid podcast.
I, Dave,
yeah,
cast
about
you to hell.
It says this guy went to the UCLA, graduated in 1981 with a bachelor's degree in engineering.
And secrets.
And then
And secrecy.
and at 83 he went insane.
Oh my God.
At one point, this guy was a normal guy.
Yeah.
And then at some point, he turned, like, maybe he got, his girlfriend broke up with him at the wrong time. And he's just like, I need something to cast spell elements.
I don't think that 6-day peyote trip in the desert did him very good.
No, not at all.
So apparently,
Okay.
Did he email you back?
No, not yet. Why keep going? You want to move on, and then we can come back to it when he calls?
Yeah, I have a feeling this guy's gonna email you back and forth for a while. So,
So Dustin, how did you get your start in comedy?
I moved here actually like almost squarely 2 years ago, and
Okay.
my friend Seth Zakula, another comic that you can catch at the Grizzly Pear every Sunday, he was a good friend of mine for like 6 years back in Wisconsin, and we were just drinking buddies, and we found that like when we went to parties and stuff, we would just get monstrously trashed and just kind of control the room, like just be fucking weird animals.
Okay.
And then he's like, well, I'm gonna move to New York I'm gonna pursue it wasn't stand up, he was gonna do like sketch comedy. He wanted to be a sketch comic.
Okay.
But he found that there was like no way into that. I mean, you could do like the UCB thing, but
my friend did that.
it seems
Yeah.
like that's like a real uphill climb, and there's not a lot of the problem with that is there's not a lot of control you can have doing that with what you're doing. You kind of have to play by their rules. So that didn't appeal to him. So he started doing stand up after he got involved with selling tickets at the Square for like other shows, and he ran into a couple comics, and they're like, "Hey, you're funny. You should do this." And the whole time I was in law school, just kind of hating it and knowing I was never going to be a lawyer because lawyers are boring. And one night I was like, "Hey, I just want to move there. I want to try stand up." And he's like, "Okay, do it." And I drove my truck and all my shit here in a couple days, and
Was that the first line of your country song you wrote also?
yeah, I drove my truck and all my shit here.
My baby left me.
So I did, and I had like this idea about like stand up from what I've seen on TV, which is like clubs and specials and all that shit, and
Everyone fawning over you.
everybody, all the laughs was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the biggest illusion. I actually started by hanging out with him and barking outside of bars in the village where the shows would go on. And they had a dropout one night pretty early when I was here. And the guy in charge was like, "Hey, you seem like you know what you're doing. We'll give you 5 minutes at the end." And I was like, okay. And I went up there, and it was like 4 nice Canadian people, like out of towners, just looking to have fun. And I just rambled like a psychopath, and it was really painful and awful. And then I was hooked. That was
If I can sound like a psychopath more often and people will sit there for it, I'm in.
They were really nice. I mean, I did. That was not the worst I've ever done, which is strangely enough. Like after getting into it more, I had definitely had the opportunity to walk a few rooms.
What was your worst night basically?
Worst night was it was at a bar called the 206 Lounge, which is not there anymore. It turned into like a vegan, gluten-free place. But they used to have shows at the basement, which is already like weird. You like have to get them down into this dungeon.
Yeah.
And so I was barking. That was back before I, was even good enough to like run shows or get spots. I would just bark for my stage time. And because they knew how inexperienced you were, you'd go on like nearly last. So I had been out there barking, just saying, "Hey, free comedy show," for about an hour and a half. So that drains you of all your energy, which you need if you suck, because at least maybe you could will yourself to be good if you had energy. But I didn't have that. I didn't have good material. I was just getting started. I didn't really have good instincts. So I went up there and I was exhausted, but like I was like, I need to do this. And I don't know. I kind of can't remember how the set went specifically. I just remember how bad it felt when I got off stage. And then I went and sat at the bar, which was upstairs. And then I watched every audience member come up that staircase and look at me as they left. And that was I almost quit like right after that night. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. Just the blame in their eyes.
You told me to come down here.
You told me to come down here, and then we believed you, and then you destroyed us.
I was on my way to seeing my daughter give birth. I stopped in for your show, and now I missed my grandchild. Asshole.
The show was free, and I still want my money back.
Exactly. I guess they got what they paid for, but
Yeah.
I
don't
could
know.
have been jacking off the porn the entire time, and I had to watch your show instead.
they would have had a better time if I would have done that right in front of them, I think.
They were like, this, I don't know about this art stuff they have in New York. It's very avant-garde.
They just, I don't know, they hated me. They didn't get it. They were tired, too. It was like an hour and a half in. Usually you should only watch comedy for like an hour. That's probably a good...
Yeah. I've been at, comedy shows where, like, it's like 2 hours long, and, that last half hour, you're like, I'm kind of tired of laughing. Kind of don't want to laugh anymore.
Well, you need for that, I feel like it has to be different comedians, and they have to have very different styles to keep you laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, even like comedian like you really like, if he's on for an hour and a half, you're like, okay, you could wrap this up already.
Yeah. I mean, and that show that I was talking about had a lot of the comics with the same sort of vibe anyway. It was kind of a lot of college, a little like just out of college dudes. I mean, the level of talent is also, we're still just doing a bar show. So it's not like, Louis C.K. dropped in. It was
Right.
like just a bunch of guys being like, I was trying to fuck this girl and then she didn't fuck me, right? And it's like, all right, do we have to do like an hour and a half of that?
What's with girls not wanting to fuck me?
And then then there's like me who's like exhausted, be like, have you ever drank a whole bottle of NyQuil because you never felt anything before? And they're like, no, what? Get out of here.
I cannot relate to that.
No.
What was I say? I was going to ask you what your best experience was, but I only want to hear about bad experiences, really.
Bad-
Not because they're much more interesting.
Yeah, bad stories are much more fun than success stories. That's another thing that drives me nuts about a lot of comics around the city is that they're the hero of every story they tell, and it's so boring and off-putting. Like, look, if you wanted to have a story where you're the hero, just make something up. You don't even have to live the experience to make it real. You could
the audience gave me a standing ovation, and then the Pope blew me.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I tell you, I swear.
See, that's a more fun story than like, I tried to have a threesome and then I did. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking...
Exactly.
The Pope blowing you is still a better success story, and it doesn't have to be real.
Well, I was in college, and this one girl, she sat down next to me in my dorm room, and she said, I want to give you a blowjob. And it was that moment where I'm thinking, like, there was one other guy in the room, and he can hear me, so I could have a boring story or I could have a fun story. So I said, you're fat. And I just started laughing. And that's such a better story.
I really thought that story was going, and then I let her blow me in front of this other guy, and I never
That's a
took
boring
away eye contact from this dude.
That's kind of a boring story.
It is.
Saying she's fat and then having her cry on your shoulder is a story for the grandchildren.
You think just speaking of the Pope, do you think he takes Cialis and he gets blown by? Does he have his like servant girls?
Oh, I think so. I think he's part of the Illuminati.
He must be.
He's got all the elements.
Did you get an email back from this guy yet?
Not fucking yet. Maybe he's a listener of the show. Maybe Steven, is that you? Are you the Illuminati guy?
That's Steven's. Are you calling Steven Dustin Steven?
No,
No,
I
you're
meant
saying
I wasn't
Steven,
asking Dustin. I was asking Steven in the audience, in the chat room.
Oh yeah, we should just call our chat room Steven.
Yeah, this guy Steven who likes to be in our chat room.
Steven's house.
He's our one and only super fan.
We forgot to wish him a happy birthday last week. So happy birthday!
Happy
Steven.
birthday, Steven.
I can remove
Happy
this.
birthday, Steven.
I can remove this
We
now.
hope
Steven
that the Pope blew you for your birthday. What else is going on, guys?
Let's see. This week, let's just go into some of these questions. How about that? Because I think they cover a lot of stuff I did this week. Oddly enough. Dean writes, Bernie Sanders. It's not really a
Is
question.
that a question?
It's not really a question.
Bernie
Is that,
Sanders?
is that what you did this weekend?
I did Bernie Sanders this weekend.
My friend who's like I used to have a friend in Wisconsin who turned out to be a super douche. But he keeps posting like he's kind of like a liberal anarchist kind of dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he posted like an info thing of Bernie Sanders today on Facebook that just said like, if you're going to throw a brick at a cop, cut it in half. It'll get more distance. Bernie Sanders. And it's like, I'm pretty sure.
What does that have to
He
do
didn't
with-
fucking say that. Why is Bernie Sanders so violent all of a sudden?
Cut it in. I don't even understand what he's trying to say.
He's saying like cut the brick in half so it's easier to throw at a cop.
Cut it in half because I'm 90 years old and I can't throw a full brick.
Yeah, maybe it has more to do with Bernie Sanders' physical shape than it does about cops. If you're going to throw a brick at a cop.
Realizing that bricks are hard to throw. He's been trying to the whole time. He's like, it pulls out your fucking rotator cuff. I'm never going to be in the majors.
Does that all he does is like post horrible shit and then put Bernie Sanders after it? It's like, if you see a baby, light it on fire. Bernie Sanders. I guess he wants us to say what we think about Bernie Sanders. I think he's got some good ideas, and I think he has 0% chance of getting elected.
I think he's weak.
He is.
I think he can't throw a brick that far.
I think I could beat him in
How
an arm
many
wrestling.
how many pieces would Bernie Sanders have to cut an average brick before he can throw it?
I would say at least 8 good pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm Bernie Sanders. I can throw an eighth of a brick at your police officer. Vote for me.
I would love to see that ad. Like, they have
Yeah.
those ads of the Republicans, like, shooting rifles in the range. I just want to see Bernie Sanders throw an eighth of a brick. I
want to see him with a butter knife trying to cut at a brick. I'm going to cut this brick. I'm going to throw it at you. I'm going to throw it at democracy.
I'd like to see him like trying to scoop out ice cream that's too frozen to like, and then he just can't do it. He just, vote for me.
It's like a 45-minute ad.
I need my chunky monkey.
It finally melts enough to get it.
Then you just see him chewing on ice cream. That'd be the perfect ad.
Oh, man. He would get my vote.
All these guys seem so old also that you kind of think they're like, oh, we're going to protect freedom and we're going to help the homeless, but I poop myself and we're going to solve that first.
They got a poop guy. I'm sure they got a poop guy.
They just all seem
Yeah, he
so
probably gets
old.
paid very well.
How old is Bernie Sanders?
Like 400. I don't know. He was around like during slavery and he was against it. That's what his thing was.
He was James Monroe's running mate.
He's 74. He's like 2 years older than time.
Yeah.
70. So basically, if he stayed president and he stayed alive the whole time, he'd be 82. I don't think there are many people over 82 at that age that don't have Alzheimer's.
You know,
true.
the thing that they were trying to go up against McCain for was that he was too old, and that if he died, then Palin would be in office.
Right.
I think Palin should be Bernie Sanders' running mate, and then we'll just be like, hey, roll the dice. You get like a half and half, maybe. You get like half liberal, half conservative term.
Maybe Trump could run with Sanders.
That'd be cool.
And then everyone's like, just give him just make sure he stays alive. And then they can do Weekend at Bernie's and keep him alive. And Donald Trump is like, I think he's really dead. He's not really dead. We're not just holding him up. He's still president. Get the hell out of here, Trump.
I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that Trump was a reanimated corpse the whole time.
I think Saturday Night Live is running him as a candidate. I think he's going to admit at some point that there was a big joke being put on by SNL. The greatest bit ever for the election.
I mean, it's been great for like comics. People love to make fun of him.
It's hard to make fun of him, though, because he's like, Mexicans are rapists. And people are like, we're going to vote for you. And what do you make fun of? You're like, he's saying the most absurd thing possible. And people are like, yay!
His best thing is about the Mexican thing. He's like, they're rapists, but I'm not saying they're all bad. Meaning that
yeah.
Donald Trump believes that there are good rapists out there, which I think we should probably delve into
I thought he
a
meant
bit more.
there are some good Mexicans out there.
Oh, no, I would never.
I love. He's also argued. The best thing was the second debate when he was debating with the pediatric neurologist about vaccines, and you're like, come on, just admit you don't know as much as the other guy. Just say the guy's a fucking brain surgeon. Just give it up.
Yeah.
No, I would never admit that.
Our campaign is slow going so far. I officially registered The Brink of Sanity as a
candidate.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it's officially on the ballot now, but it's not really taken off too well.
How would we get your vote, Dustin? What would you take for you to vote for Brink of Sanity? What issues are important to you?
Like right off the bat, if you just said like legalize all drugs, I'd be like, okay, that would be. I mean, if I'm talking like semi seriously, I suppose. I don't know. Don't you have to be like a certain age and also a person to be the president?
Well,
like, we really like this podcast.
Jay sitting next to you is actually a person, and you don't have to. He's of the legal age, and you. Other than that, you don't need that many more qualifications. You have to be a naturalized citizen, which we assume Jay is.
And you don't have to use your real name because I got accepted.
If you guys both said we're both members of the Illuminati and we have documentation proving that, and the Brink of Sanity gets elected, meaning that you guys have to choose who's the president, which means that there's a possible fight to the death going on there. That could be nice.
Could be.
I keep sending this guy emails saying, "Why you're not calling? What have I done wrong?" And he's not replying. Urgh. This would have been great. I knew this was too good.
Oh man, this fucking guy. He's
Such
such
a cock
dick.
tease.
Yeah. Oh my god. Do you need another beer? Because I need another beer.
I got half a beer left, so I'm good for now.
Okay. Let me know when you need one. I am going to run
Thanks,
out real
man.
quick and get a beer.
Dustin and I can. Justin, you want to still chat?
Yeah, let's shoot the shit.
This is where it turns
Why
into
the hell
baseball
not?
talk, and I gotta fucking break it up when I get back.
I don't know
let 'em-
anything about the base boys.
Good. Don't let them get into it.
Baseball, actually. The Mets just made the playoffs.
That's
It's
what I
exciting.
heard.
It
I
is
heard.
huge.
I don't know if
The,
it's huge. I don't know anything about baseball.
Well, the Mets have been around since 1962. I can name every time they've been in the playoffs, which means it hasn't been that many times.
How many?
So-
Like 2?
Actually, this is like the 7th time, so it's not such a low number anymore. But it's still pretty weak compared to like the Yankees have been to the playoffs 7 times in the last 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I
it's a little
learned that
different.
fact. That's a fact that's gonna come out of my brain though. It's just gonna ooze out because I don't. It's not like relevant.
You
to
don't
me.
need that fact. There are a lot of facts I have in my brain that I don't really need. Most facts I learned in elementary school are not needed in my brain.
I feel like I have a lot of facts in my brain that I need to get rid of, but are just gonna stick with me forever. Like the Pringles jingle from the '90s, or how to play Monopoly. Like really minute rules about Monopoly. Mm-hmm. Where it's like I'm never gonna play that game. I know that game stinks, but I'm eventually gonna have to get rid of that information, which I never will.
And that's
We were. I was at the just speaking of board games. I was at the library with my son. I have 2 kids, and so my son, who's like 4 years old, and they had board games there, and they had Chutes and Ladders. And so I was like, "Oh, I'll show you how to play Chutes and Ladders." And my son, who's never seen the game before, goes, "I already know how to play." And I was like, "Well, that's not possible.
Bullshit.
You didn't even know the existence of board games until 2 minutes ago." And he's like, "I know how to play." I'm like, "Well, you don't. Let me just show you how to play." "No, I know." "Fine, you know how to play. Fine. We'll play your rules." And then he proceeds to, I don't know, just like throw the pieces around and like move stuff around. I'm like, well, that's not actually
Isn't
how we
that the rules
play.
to every board game to like a 2-year-old?
Yeah,
Just
and
throw
then
the
he's like,
pieces everywhere.
I don't want to play anymore. I'm like, well, can you help me clean up? I don't want to clean up. I'm like, well, this game sucks.
The rules to every game is throw the shit around the room and let Dad pick it up.
Yeah. Every
That-
board game
my-
should just be called "You Clean It Up."
Yeah.
My son's better about that. I have a daughter who's 18 months who all she does is throw things on the floor. She's done eating food, she just throws it on the floor. I handed her. I was trying to get her to eat vegetables, peas. I gave her some peas. She took a handful of peas, immediately just throws it across the room. I go to clean up. My son hands her more peas, so she keeps throwing them on the floor, and he's like, "Throw more on the floor. Throw more on the floor." And I'm like, "Why do these kids hate me?"
Mark, I got bad news for you. Your son rules.
You make having kids sound as much fun as I make going to grad school sound fun.
Jay instead of having kids, Jay is in school part time.
That's cool.
But I'm taking almost full-time credit, so I want to murder myself. Rob writes, what is your ranking of the Star Wars movies, including the prequels? Also, as president, will you exclude the prequels from canon? Can we execute Jar Jar Binks? There's a 3-part question.
All
Well-
related.
Yes.
I would say the first 3. I guess after the first 3, we just pretend the other ones didn't happen, right?
So you saying rank all 6 of them from best to worst?
Right.
So
Well, the prequels you don't count, right?
What?
no, I think he's saying that like they have to be on the ranking.
Yeah, he wants us to rank them. I actually watched episode 1 on Saturday because my dad has not seen these, and so I figured we had a debate last episode what order to watch them in. I said we can't watch the original trilogy first because you're not going to want to watch that and then like start watching Jar Jar. You got to get Jar Jar out of the way. So we started with episode 1. We're just going to go 1 through 6. It was I saw it opening night, episode 1, and I did not like it. It was way worse than I remember. It was fucking terrible.
It's one of those ones where you actually want people to talk in the audience because that would enhance your experience.
Well, I went on opening night, so people were having lightsaber fights in the aisles.
that's-
and
yeah, that's
there was
fun.
Standing ovations every time, like Yoda shows up, and there's like 5-minute standing ovation. But the fucking Jar Jar and that shitty little kid just ruined. That is a terrible movie. So that's last.
I mean, that being said, my list for 1 to 6, all 6 spots will be taken by the Phantom Menace, and the rest can go fuck themselves.
Well, it was nice knowing you. You're now off the show.
Would you exclude the? I don't know if the president can do that. Can the president exclude the prequels from canon?
I will write a bill. Hopefully, Congress will approve of it.
Actually, just to want to jump in here, Jay. I know you're running for president, so you know a lot. But actually, as president, you can't even write a bill, so that's actually not your powers.
Oh,
You can
You
only
should learn
stamp
what the
it.
president does before you run.
okay. Well, our listeners think the president has powers to make movies, removed from existence. So,
Right.
I would not include 1 and 2 in canon. 3, I'll give him 3. 3 was
3's okay.
3 is watchable.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I would go what? 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1.
I would go 5, 4, 6, 3, 2, 1.
I like Spaceballs the best, actually. I'm going to give that the number 1 spot.
That did not age well for me. Spaceballs.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Yeah, because it was too like when I was in middle school, I loved it, but then I watched it again, and it was like, just like, hey, our lightsaber's a dick. What? Like it just was way too.
I feel like a lot of Mel Brooks movies were funny in like middle school, and now are not so good.
I feel like they aged
they're
out
all
of it.
really dumb humor, but I still think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the kind of code someone would have on their suitcase. And the guy walks in and says, "It's this code." I think that's funny.
That's
And when
that's funny, but they shoved that down your throat. They gave you that joke like 3 times.
Yeah.
And by the third time, you're like, hey, why don't you write another joke? Like we already heard the first one. I think like they were padding it.
combing the sand, they're actually using a big cone.
I like the expression when you said it, like you realized how bad it was. You're like, they actually literally did it. Oh shit.
I just love how bad good it is. Basically, it's just like, it's all terrible joke after terrible joke.
I
But
can
it's-
respect that.
Yeah.
Somebody-
Anyway, so I put Spaceballs 1, 2, 3, and that's my list.
Somebody actually uploaded episode 1 without cutting out all the Jar Jar parts, and that person's my hero.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can we execute Jar Jar Binks? I don't know what that means. Does that mean like we make a movie where Jar Jar Binks gets executed, or do we have to find like the real life Jar Jar Binks and shoot him in the face?
Anybody who approved the idea of Jar Jar Binks just gets murdered.
And they have to
My
like
first-
be dressed up like him.
My first act as president, I'm going to execute Jar Jar Binks. Sir, you know that's a fictional character. It doesn't
Find
really
me!
exist. Fuck! Damn it! This is not going well.
Make him real and then murder him. Stephen
Like-
writes, has Mark solved his insect problem? Mark has an ant infestation in his newly bought house.
What kind of ants?
The smallest ants you've ever seen. They're really, really, I don't know what kind of ants they're called, but they're like so small that when you see 1 or 2 of them, you don't really care. You just like kill them with your finger. But when you see a lot of them, you kind of lose your mind. And so last episode was near my breaking point. We were seeing tons of them everywhere. But since then, the exterminators come, and I have not seen any since the exterminator came. I also sealed some cracks. And so I'm sure they'll be back in a week. But I'm good on ants right now.
All right. So I feel a good story of the week.
Yeah, so if you are trying to think about who's going to play me in a movie, do you think Samuel L. Jackson would play me?
He plays everyone, right? Isn't that a rule?
Yeah, and he can just go some kind of line about like, I can't deal with get these fucking ants off my house.
So the movie's called Ants in a House, and
Ants.
and
I can't get these motherfucking ants out of my motherfucking house.
People don't even. At the end of the day, they're like, that wasn't really the worst Samuel L. Jackson movie.
no, it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Not even in bottom 5.
He was in Star Wars. He was in was it 3?
No, he was in 1.
He was in 1. So that's
He's probably in 2. I think he dies in 2, right?
he dies in 3 because he gets electrocuted by the Emperor, and he throws him out the window.
Did they just redo everything from the original trilogy and the new trilogy? I don't even remember.
Here's a question for you guys. If you were like on a date with a girl, this happened to me in college, and the girl said she'd seen Star Wars 99 times, what would your reaction be?
I'd be like, why not do 100? Why 99? Did you are you done with it?
Yeah, I would like that. I've literally seen it over 50, so...
You've seen it over 50 times?
Yeah. When I was a kid, every Saturday after the cartoon block ended, when we're a little older than you, they actually had cartoons on Saturday mornings.
I vaguely remember that.
Okay, so after that, I would watch one of the 3 Star Warses every Saturday.
And your parents are like, it's the same movie every week. We show him the same movie. He seems surprised every time things happen. We're hoping he'll get dementia.
So wait, I'm not sure what that question's about, because it's like, did you just see it 99 times now, like in college, or did you see it like when you were a kid? Because like what Jason was saying, that's totally like I understand that. When you're a kid, you have like infinite amount of time. You can see all the movies you want to basically and just, go to town. But if you're a girl in college and you see Star Wars, especially like one of the like not the original trilogy, but like, the prequels like 99 times, that would probably be a deal breaker.
Well, if you're seeing the prequel 99 times, that is
That's a deal
definitely.
breaker.
If you see Jar Jar more than once and you're like, I enjoyed that, we're done. It's over.
What if it's just like a different like movie? What if it's just like I've seen that Will Ferrell movie Blades of Steel 99 times?
I don't think it's a healthy number.
No.
I don't think like anybody who's an adult who's like I saw the same movie 99 times during my adulthood when I could do other things with my time. I don't think I couldn't keep going. I would be intrigued.
Yeah.
Knowing me, I would keep going, but I know I shouldn't.
Right.
At the same time, if someone said to you, like, pick a book you really like, let's say you're big into Lord of the Rings. If someone told you they read Lord of the Rings 99 times, would you just, like, call the police right then? If anyone read a book that many times, you'd be like, what the fuck?
That's way worse because I mean, a book takes you like 20 hours. It's not like a movie. So if you're reading a book 20 times, you got some serious free time.
Yeah. I'm also
What if
just
it's
against reading in general.
What if they said to you, I read the Bible 99 times?
Then I'm marrying her on the spot.
You want to go next question?
Why are dumb people offended by dark humor?
Oh, because they can't separate themselves from the subject matter.
That's
basically it.
that's perfect.
They
answer.
really just can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's what makes them dumb.
That's why Very Bad Things is my favorite movie. Have you seen that?
No?
It's a rollicking comedy about 5 guys who accidentally kill a stripper in Vegas and then have to deal with it.
Is it on like Netflix or something?
I think so. Yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's Christian Slater, Jeremy Piven, Daniel Stern.
It's pretty good.
I think it's fucking hilarious, but it is very dark. Mark, could you please make sure your wife enters the room in all future episodes?
Should I call her?
Greg writes, better Spider-Man, Tobey or Garfield?
Obviously Garfield.
Wait, are
The
they?
cat?
Is he saying Garfield the cat is going to play Spider-Man? Because that would be pretty much amazing. To me.
Yeah, I would absolutely. How is that even a question? You should have made up your own mind, man.
The Green Goblin played by Odie.
Yeah. John Arbuckle's like the president or something.
John Arbuckle's J. Jonah Jameson. Let's put a Hitler mustache on him.
The nurse is his love interest.
We know a lot about Garfield.
I know. I watch Garfield Thanksgiving special with my roommate like every Thanksgiving now since we've been in New York, and it's just a perfect thing because we're usually like hungover and he's cooking like a huge fucking turkey and we're like not with it. We've got like the after drinking sillies and we're just laughing at this awful Thanksgiving special. They actually break out in song if you've never seen it. They sing at you.
Oh, I've seen it.
That
Yeah.
was every holiday.
I've seen it 99
cartoon
times.
special.
If she told me that, and she's like, "I've seen the Garfield Thanksgiving special 99 times," I would like, I have this ring in my pocket just for this occasion.
It's just it's one of those spider rings from the grocery store.
When we were kids, they had Garfield against Heathcliff. That was on at the same time. What kind of fucked up shit is that?
It's like Marvel versus Capcom, but like
Yeah,
so much
but they're
better.
separate games at the same time.
Okay, Heathcliff was so much lamer. Garfield was so much better.
It was.
Song-wise, though,
It was, but I liked the Heathcliff theme much better.
it's much better song.
So as a kid, I would watch the Heathcliff intro and then switch over to Garfield.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the guy if he likes Garfield better or Heathcliff.
Ask him cat-wise or song-wise. You can differentiate between the two.
Right, right.
Cat-wise, I love Garfield. He hates Mondays. Song-wise, though,
Yeah.
Heathcliff.
Absolutely. I can't even remember Garfield's theme song. But,
Oh, that's like, we're ready to party, we're ready.
oh,
I
yeah.
hope you bring lots of spaghetti. I'm scared.
That's nowhere near as good as the Heathcliff
Yeah,
theme
it's
song.
it's good. It's certainly good. It's not a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So my son also is into like watches cartoons, and he refuses to remember any cartoon's name or like who the characters are. So if he wants to, he's like, I want to watch the Dog and Cat Show.
Your son's already an old man.
I'm like, you mean the Garfield Show? The Dog and Cat Show. The next day, I want to watch the Dog and Cat. Just call it Garfield. The Dog and Cat. Fine, I'll put the Dog and Cat Show on.
You should show him Cat Dog and really fuck up his world.
Oh yeah, Cat Dog. I remember that.
That is. Have you seen
This
that?
I don't remember. Is this like a precursor to the The Kardashian Dad?
No, it was late '90s. and
Nickelodeon cartoon.
It was one animal, and one half was a cat, one half was a dog. There was like, it was like almost like Siamese twins.
Yeah. Where, like, they took one end of the dog where the head is, and they stuck another part of the cat where the head is on the other half of that.
So there's no tail end for each.
There's no
either.
anus.
Oh, so it's heads on both ends?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's cat
Oh.
dog, and it was
What?
on for like years.
Did they specify was it cat or dog genitals? Because that would be something weird to specify.
There was no
I
genitals.
think it's both.
It was
Or
just
maybe
top-
there was no
it was just
genitals.
torsos. Two
We know
torsos.
this is a Saturday morning cartoon, but we just want to clarify for all young kids it has cat genitals. Anyway, moving on.
That is more horrifying than anything else that's like not PC in today's world.
Yeah.
Like if you imagine, like we had like mermaids, but like what if we just took like two humans and stuck them? Like that's even worse than like anything that I can think of right now that they were like trying to rail against as far as like a PC society.
We did not answer Greg's question.
What is Greg's question?
What was his question?
the better Spider-Man?
No, Garfield.
He said Garfield the cat is the best Spider-Man. We're excited for that movie to be made. Move on with the question.
Can I just say how glad I am we're doing this live room, because the chat room is just breaking down my receding hairline. It's just
Why?
It's just two guys going back and forth talking about my receding hairline.
Oh, what are they saying?
My hairline is already pretty bad, not Jay bad, but yeah.
Yeah. How's your wife doing, Wade? Like it's just two guys who know each other.
So glad. we got this
Hey
live
Wade,
room.
what's going on? They're just using this podcast as an excuse to like nurture their friendship. That's all they're doing.
Well, I'm glad we're bringing people together over my receding hairline.
It's very good.
Greg writes, how dumb would you name your cartoon character He-Man? Just the name.
I don't understand that question.
Well,
How
I think
dumb?
he's saying that the cartoon He-Man is kind of a dumbass name for a character.
Oh, yeah.
He-Man, and yet the probably guy made millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Which is weird because the spinoff was not She-Woman, it was She-Ra.
I mean, he should have had a pet called It Dog.
That's called Cat Dog crossover.
Yeah. If I go
Jace, this is the last episode. Have you watched the He-Man movie?
No, I want to. I watched the trailer since last episode.
Do you you got to watch the He-Man movie. Dustin, have you
to.
seen the He-Man movie?
I've not seen the He-Man movie. Is it cartoon or live action?
Live action.
Live action with
Whoa.
Ivan Drago from Rocky as He-Man.
I saw the movie when I was like 7 years old. I've seen it a couple times since. I think not 99 times, but I've seen it a couple times since. Probably not in the last 15 years. But I remember thinking it was really good every time. Not like good and like it's a great movie, but just fun.
My three biggest regrets from the 80s that I missed out on: the He-Man movie, the Garbage Pail Kids movie, and I never saw Top Gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Classics.
I didn't see the Garbage Pail movie. Is that really a classic?
It's awesome. It's so awesomely bad. Two things I remember specifically from it. One, there's like I think there's like an insane asylum for ugly people in it, where they just put all the ugly people. And then
No.
Come
on.
Oh, dude, look it up. And the other thing,
I'm gonna look it up.
yeah, look it up. What if I was a guy who just said that to people on the street, and then you guys aren't in this place where you can just call me on my bullshit? That'd be hilarious. The other thing is there's a scene, there's like a bar fight in that movie where one of the Garbage Pail Kids farts the bartender's mustache off of his face,
I gotta see this.
which
movie.
is might be the best piece of slapstick I've ever seen.
Have
in
you
my
seen
life.
actual Garbage Pail Kids?
Home for the
trading
Ugly,
cards?
you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
they're like
people are
they're
too- wow.
insane and disgusting.
Like I own the entire second series.
Wow.
They came out with like 3 series a year.
That's a lot of elements.
Yes.
Okay, so the state home for the ugly, a prison where people too ugly for society are brought and executed. They're not even like kept to like live there. They're actually executed for being ugly.
So it's a concentration camp for ugly people in this movie for kids, I think. I think it's for kids.
I have no idea.
It's not for adults. It's called Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, they're really like going for the wrong audience. They were like, we're going for senior citizens. We feel like they're going to be really into like Atom Bomb.
You remember when they brought it back like 5 years ago and everyone was like, what the fuck is this? You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they had like an
They came
Eminem
back?
parody
Really?
one. Yeah. But like the whole thing was they were making fun of Cabbage Patch Kids, and Cabbage Patch Kids haven't been around in 20 years. So when the Garbage Pail Kids like got reissued, everyone's like, I don't understand what this is. Didn't last.
The Cab-
That's so creepy.
Your parents have the story of like my parents have the story of for Cabbage Patch Kids, you had to wait in line for like days, something like that. You had to camp out to get the Cabbage Patch doll for your kid.
Certain ones.
I had a sister, or I have a sister. I don't know why I said had than had. But they had the story about how this thing caught on. It was the dumbest thing ever. And Stephen writes, it could be about aborted fetuses in dumpsters. I'm not reading Stephen's text anymore.
Keep it to the chat room, Steven. Craig writes, if I go to New York, would Mark and Jay welcome me to their house?
Who's this?
This is Greg.
Sure. Greg, you can stay with Jay anytime you want.
If you win the lottery, what's the first thing you'd buy, and how would you invest your money?
Oh, that's
Greg,
a good
you
one.
come to New York, we'll meet you for a beer. How's that? Jay's buying.
Why am I doing all this stuff?
I don't know. I'll buy you a beer, Greg.
I'll buy you the bar. Then you have to manage this bar. You're just stuck with it.
You know what? I think I would actually do that. I would buy myself a bar, and that would be my job.
If you bought, what was the question? You won the lottery?
Yeah.
If you won,
Because, like, fuck accounting. I'm going to grad school for accounting. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck it.
no one
That's
wins
the
the
best
lottery
attitude.
and remains an accountant.
I have a bar now.
I have a bar. I could use my accounting skills to bankrupt.
Do you ever hear about those people who win the lottery and then they keep their jobs and they just keep on going the way they
Fucking
did?
idiots.
It's like,
those
fuck
people,
you.
those
You
people
didn't
piss
love.
me off.
Yeah, you didn't love financial analysis. Shut the hell up.
Well, I heard this interview with this guy who had won the lottery. He didn't win. He won won a couple $1 million, but didn't win like the crazy amounts. And he was a doorman in like Brooklyn, and he just kept his job. And then you heard about how he spent the money and what he was doing. And they were like, he's like, well, yeah, I got a car for my mom, and no, it hasn't really got me a lot of women. No, I don't go on any more dates. The guy sounded like the only person that just won $3 million. That sounds sad as shit.
I want to make some kind of short or a movie about a guy who's like a doorman like that. He keeps his job after winning the lottery, but he spends all of his money in cash, just giving it to dudes to make them kiss each other, even though they don't want to. And then he blows it all on that, and then at the end of the movie, he finds out he's gay.
That movie didn't start and end the same place I expected.
It's a real roller coaster.
It's the M. Night Shyamalan of... Greg writes, you guys fans of Pokemon?
I played Blue when I was a tyke.
I've never...
What exactly is Pokemon?
You get a bunch of I don't understand it. I used to play like Final Fantasy games, which were much better, I thought. Like the old like Super Nintendo ones. And cuz then you're like a person and you're like fighting. Pokemon's like you catch these animals and they're animals in the wild, and then you make them fight each other. You're basically going around like
Cockfighting?
Yeah, it's like what's the dude Michael Vick. You're just a bunch of Michael Vicks in this world. And like I don't know, you level them up, and then like they evolve, meaning like they change into a stronger version of what they are. I don't know, it's so basic. I played when I was a kid, but it wasn't. Like,
How do they fight?
like it's like a turn-based thing, like those turn-based like Final Fantasy.
Like a role-playing game.
Yeah,
You have no idea what that means.
Not really.
you know about baseball.
Did you ever take dogs and make them fight?
Take dogs. I made a cat fight a dog once.
Did you really?
No.
Total lie.
And then the cat and the dog, they punched right at the exact time, and they
And
became
they
a cat
the
dog.
cat dog. How does that thing take a shit? That's what I've always wondered. They have to shit out of one of the mouths, I think.
On a very special episode, they explained the genitalia and how they shit. It was the most disturbing thing you'd ever seen in your life.
It's kind of like the movie Human Centipede, I think.
Which is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's really awful.
You haven't seen part 2 then. Because it's worse than 1.
We once did a show where I read the plot summary for part 2. I almost gagged reading just this plot summary for part 2.
I cannot wait for part 3.
What happens in 3?
It's an entire jail, and the warden hooks up 500 people together.
That's just they knew what they're doing now. It's not like an art film anymore. It's like, let's see how many of these we can pump out.
Film?
The first one was kind of artsy.
There was never an art film.
It was
I'm gonna
kind
attach
of a-
anuses and mouths. There's no art.
I drank my whiskey with my pinky up while watching that movie. I don't know about you. Rosero writes, opinions on the CEO who raised the AIDS drug that cost $13 to $750.
Oh, that guy's a dick. I don't know.
Have
Yeah,
you
probably
seen
worst
pictures of the
human ever.
guy?
What?
Have you seen pictures of the guy?
Yeah, he also looks like a douche.
He looks like he's Doogie Howser. Like he looks 12 years old. You really want the story to end where like Obama just beats him up.
I'm just
Physically
wondering.
beats him up, gives him a wedgie, and they're like, "You can't raise the price." Ha! Go back to your being a wimpo.
I love the people that are like defending him, like, we should really be paying attention to the system that allows you to do this, not the guy. And it's like, that doesn't make him not a dick for doing that. Like, just because, like, he was allowed to do it legally and he still did. Like, if you could rape people legally, like, I still wouldn't do it. So, maybe. And so.
Well, just in fairness to him, he picked something that was actually you're allowed to do, and he did it. You're just making rape legal.
Yeah, going back to that president question, yeah, that's what I would do if I was president.
Is make rape legal.
Make rape legal and then make it illegal to make like AIDS drugs too expensive.
I'm going
So-
to is my next act is to make the top 1% of the 1% allowable for rape. Rapings begin. No, I really don't make that much money.
Okay, next question. Rosero writes, this one's just for me, sorry guys. Does Jay play any online multiplayer games, any hardcore ones like Call of Duty or Iron Force? No, I just play Gotham City Imposters, Shoot Many Robots, and Awesome Knots. 3 games nobody's ever heard of.
I've never heard of them. You are correct. Dustin, you play any online role-playing games?
I used to. In college I tried to play World of Warcraft, and that sucked. It was just like a job.
Yeah, I played it for a little while too, and it's like, oh, here's a game with no ending, and you just play
You
it
just
forever.
keep doing.
Yeah.
You just go to work. I didn't like
What's
it
the
at all.
point of these games?
Well, there's no ending to World of Warcraft, literally.
Yeah, you just
What's
keep
what's
playing
the
it.
point?
The point is to get the best armor there is.
No, like why are you sitting there doing it?
So you can get like better. Your character gets like stronger.
Yeah,
And
so
then
you
you
can
can
have the
do
strongest
better things.
armor.
But like, why do you go? Like what in you would make you give a shit about doing this?
Like the same way that you give a shit about like beating any other video game. I think. Like if you got to beat like the biggest baddest boss and.
But
I don't know.
those games have endings. This
Yeah.
one, I think it trains you to want to keep playing. Like when you first start playing, you could level up in like 5 minutes, and then it takes a little longer, and then like it eventually makes you like obsessed with leveling up. But it
So
doesn't
if
happen
you-
for like 20 hours.
If you played it for 24/7 for like a year, like at what point? Like where's it go? Like what happens?
You
In the sense
become
of like,
a
like
fucking
just keep going
strong
up
dude.
levels.
Yeah, eventually there's like a level cap, like that you can only reach like the top level, and then it's also like a social thing. Like a bunch of people get together and like people make friends on the internet based off of it. I'm not defending it. I'm with you. I
No,
think it's
I'm
stupid.
trying to understand it. I just don't understand it.
I think it's like addictive. I think it's like you just try to keep getting better, and then the people that do that the best like hang out with each other and talk about how they're the shit. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's
I mean, like it's
hard to explain.
When you put it in words, it sounds as stupid as it is.
Yeah. Rosero writes.
What, so the one, Jay, the ones you play, is there like, can you beat the game?
The ones I play, they're like they're like 20-minute games. Like you play against another team, and
Oh,
you-
okay. It's not like something you're playing. You're sitting there playing for 8 hours.
No, you beat the other team in like 10 to 20 minutes, and then you could stop or you do it again. It's not like you play for 20 hours and then your guy levels up like one level and then nothing else happens.
Okay, that makes sense to me. It's just the ones that you have to play for hours and hours. It doesn't really go anywhere. That
Right.
makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Rosero writes, I updated my iPhone to iOS 9 and now I hated it. Be careful, Mark. It forces you to have an app called Find My Friend, which basically allows you to track your friend. That is creepy unless you are paranoid of your hot wife cheating on you with a big buff black dude.
Oh, I know my wife's cheating on me with a big buff black dude. The listeners are always right about this. I did update to iOS 9. I did that, and so my coworker was like, "You should have done that." Every time they come out with new software, the software has like all these like problems with it, and your phone's gonna work worse. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't someone tell me that? But whatever. And since then, I've had like problem after problem, like little things. Like I couldn't. A screen came up that prevented me from texting, and I had to look up how to fix this. And then now when I'm home and I try to go on my try to go watch TV on my phone, if I'm in a room without TV, it says I'm not on the right network. And all these things that weren't happening before are now happening. Why does Apple do that to make my? Why does Apple send updates to make my phone worse?
Same reason the guy like jumped up the AIDS drug price. Is it fucking awful?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a Galaxy phone and it's like okay. I don't think phones are great.
I have an Android and it's all right. It's just I feel like every month the battery lasts like an hour less.
Yeah.
And now my battery that used to last like 3 days, it lasts about 4 hours.
I also would agree with him. There is a Find My Friend thing, which is kind of creepy.
Well, if you don't have any friends, then you don't have any problems.
Yeah.
That's
problem
true.
solved.
But it's like I'm not gonna turn this on because I don't want anyone stalking me.
Find my friend.
Yeah, it's just like
I
stalk
think
me
that's
app.
silly. Presuming that they like you've got a friend, you need to find your friend. Like, what if you just want to be alone?
Well, I mean, I get the sense of like, oh, I can know. I don't have to like call them what bars they are. I can just show up at the bars they're at. I guess like in the social.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
That is creepy to be like just show up because if they're your friend, they'll be like, yeah, I'm at this place. They'll just tell you where they are.
Yeah.
They won't
like
just
a
be
like a normal human, not like just fucking spy on them.
Do you think they're gonna have the next app? It's gonna be like find that hot stranger that you were leering at on the subway.
Find all DTF bitches immediately, Apple.
Isn't that like
Apple's like, we really had no idea this would lead to a lot of rapes. We're hoping these were only in the top 1.1% of the 1% because President Brink Sanity said those were legal.
we've made a
Introducing
horrible error.
legislation to make this legal right away.
As soon as we finish executing Jar Jar Binks, the fictional character, we'll be on the raping bill.
What would Mark do if his wife wanted to introduce another female to their relationship like a threesome, assuming she is a woman and has needs and it does not appear Mark is hitting that nightly?
That's a lot of like.
What
It's
if?
it's a lot of like assuming that as long as you are not hitting that nightly.
Yeah.
I just think this guy's like really obsessed with like the idea.
Every episode we get a question about Mark's sex life with his wife. I don't know.
Oh,
why.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Mark, are you hitting it nightly? That's a weird thing to say to somebody.
I thought does he mean am I hitting the girl that we're adding to the relationship, or am I hitting my wife nightly, or
He
what does he
means
mean?
close.
He's like, Mark, you better be
Closed-fisted.
beating your wife or.
I don't think he
Roundhouse
meant
to
physically
the
beating,
temple.
but so if my wife wanted to introduce Jar Jar Binks into a relationship, I'd be down. I think that just I feel like that would be if you were dating someone new and they were like, let's add another person, a girl, you'd be like, awesome. But I feel like if you're dating someone for a long time or say married, it'd be kind of weird.
I broke up with my last girlfriend because she knew somebody when she lived overseas and they became close and something might have happened, which is fine. That's like history. But then he was gonna come visit her and then she was like, I need to tell you about this. And I'm like, well, are you gonna do anything? And she's like, well, I can't guarantee that I won't. And I was like, nope, done. Like, there's no way. I don't know. Every time somebody new gets introduced, I think it fucks up everything. I don't think, like, you gotta be, like, really open to do, like, 3 people. Even if it was with
Wait,
like, 2 girls.
your story, did she want the like you guys to have a threesome together?
No, she just wanted to fuck this guy. Then he goes back to wherever, like, across the planet. And then we like just resume like nothing happened.
Yeah, that sounds like a deal breaker.
That sounds retarded.
And
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like there's no like discussion there. You're like, you want some random dude to like nail you, and then our relationship will be great.
Yeah, but full disclosure, I wasn't hitting it every night. But like,
Anyway, I wrote my own vows for the wedding, and I like to say, when my wife had that big burly guy from Germany come here and rail her in the ass, our relationship improved immensely.
that's never happened. That's never like, oh, the one time that she like had feelings for this other dude, I let it happen, and then it's been the same as it always was.
Did she offer you like your own like get out of
Yeah.
jail free card?
She did, but like only after we argued so much that I was like just furious. Like
Oh,
she was,
well, that's
she
very
was like basically like, well, I feel like if the tables were turned, then it wouldn't be an issue with me. And I was like, but I'm not trying to turn the tables on. Like, I'm not introducing any element that you aren't. That's ridiculous. She's like,
Okay.
if it was the tables were turned, there's another girl, then I wouldn't feel jealous. And I'm like, well, but we're not talking about that.
Well, it's like
And-
I'm glad you're saying that's in this hypothetical not happening now situation.
Yeah.
How long were you guys dating for?
Not too long, like a month.
Okay.
Oh.
So it was easy. It was an easy enough
was
call to
a-
be like,
You're like, I
love
just
her.
don't want to buy dinner for a whore. So friendship over. What's your counterpoint?
All right, moving on. Rosero writes, why does Jay not read all the questions? Why does he pick and choose what he likes or sees fit like he's better than the question asker?
Yeah, what's up with you, Jay?
I read almost all the questions. Some of them are completely incoherent or just a bunch of cursing. Those I skip. We've had
You tell
three...
Dustin we have another show called a New York Knicks show. And for the Knicks show, I read the questions, and I'll read no matter how much broken English, lack of punctuation there is, I'll read the question. And so they want Jay to do the same on this show.
you know that your podcast is doing pretty good when people who write in start to take ownership of it.
Yeah.
When they're like, why don't you read all the questions? This is not just yours, man. This isn't your show.
This is bullshit.
The thing is, the last 3 episodes have gone over 2 hours. We don't have time or the energy to do a 3-hour show. And if some of the questions are just random cursing, incoherent stuff, we don't have time. It's, I thank you for writing these. I appreciate it.
So he's not going to call my Illuminati guy. This is bullshit.
That's really disappointing.
Mr. Illuminati, why you leave my erection blue?
Why you no love me no more?
Love me long
You
time.
no love me.
Why could he reply? That would have been so fun.
I
I
know.
was really looking forward to that.
Why? I mean, like, his job is to convince people to become part of the Illuminati. Just call people and just say every once in a while you get people that are not putting you on a podcast making fun of you.
Just tell him I knew this was a scam. Call him out. See what he says to that.
Listen, man, we just want to now we want to know, like, we just want to talk to you about your scam.
Yeah, be like, I didn't think you were serious about, I had a feeling you were a scam, and you just proved it.
I just wanted to say, in case you didn't glean that from me talking about my dick the whole time.
Yeah. And I'm still adorable.
Listen, you're clearly the fake Illuminati.
Rosero writes, Mark does not dislike black people. Look, I'll prove it. Tell the people how Straight Outta Compton movie was.
I want to see that really badly. My wife doesn't want to see it. And she doesn't think, like, we should get a babysitter to go see Straight Outta Compton.
That's great that, like, your racism depends on how you like the movie.
Greg writes, who is the greatest hero of all time? And fucking Shrek is in the list.
I gotta pick Shrek. It's great that Shrek is part of it. I mean, if I were to say from this selection, really the greatest hero, I mean,
Who the fuck is Ezio? Is that Assassin's Creed?
oh yeah, it's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I'm going to go with not that.
I'm gonna do Mario, Super Mario.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real hero.
Although he's only rescued one person ever.
I know, over and over again. Though. He's
Yeah.
got dedication.
That is true.
Okay, listen, you are clearly the fake Illuminati. If you were real, you would call. You are pretender. You are clearly not worthy, or not worthy of Illuminati, or you would call. I'll see if I can call him out now. I'll try the different tactic.
There's so many unanswered questions. Like, I really want to know about the elements.
Oh my god,
Like,
I
he's
want to
just
know how many other people have fallen for this dumbass shit.
I would go with my favorite super Jewish.
We were trying to
superhero,
figure out what
Spider-Man.
probably happens when the package comes. What do they actually send you? And then how does it work? How does he get the money from your bank
It's
account?
clearly either anthrax or a bomb, so I'm glad we're not getting this package.
I feel like it's something where they're like, oh, we're sending you something that's worth millions of dollars. Just can you put a deposit of $50,000 in there?
Yeah,
I'll take all your money.
I'm sure that's something like that.
Mighty Mouse. Best superhero, could kick the crap out of all these other superheroes.
There you go. Ali writes, romance or role play?
Is he talking about how we like our Garfield comics?
I think role play is a little weird.
Yeah, I think it's weird.
I'm the mailman.
So Jason's clearly tried it once.
I got boy, do I got a package for you.
It's an element.
Sorry.
Honey, let's just play the Illuminati tonight. I'll be the Illuminati.
Then I get too into it. I'm like, could you sign this delivery receipt? It's a certified package. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I can't deliver it without that. Sorry. Steven writes, do you guys love Satan as much as I do? Well,
How much do you love Satan?
yeah, this is an incomplete question. We don't know how much you love
think?
Satan.
Hang on. Do you think this is a autocorrect? And he means satin.
How much you love Satin?
Yeah, the material.
Nights in White Satin by
Yeah,
Moody
maybe he's
Blues?
really
Moody
into
Blues.
satin. Or like,
I love
he's
me
like,
some Moody Blues.
Yeah, maybe that's just his way of like he calls satin like Moody Blues fans just call it satin. I'd say Moody Blues. I don't know any of their other songs, but I think that one song was pretty good.
I'm amazed
you're a
that
big
everyone
fan,
in this
Steve.
room knows Moody Blues. That is, I've actually seen them live. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Really, what is their other song?
Tuesday afternoon.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go.
What else?
That's about it.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of other weird. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Your Wildest Dreams or whatever. That's totally.
yeah,
But it's not
yeah.
even doesn't sound like the other stuff.
No,
they make.
it doesn't.
It sounds like some weird '80s.
That sounds as
stuff.
much like the Moody Blues as like that Aruba Jamaica song sounds like the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah, Kokomo.
Kokomo, yes.
Kokomo.
I want to take you to.
Get there
Stephen
fast.
writes.
And take it slow.
Are Mark's kids Jewish? I'm pretty sure Mark isn't religious.
My kids are Jewish.
Remember when we had to record on Monday last week because Mark had one of his weird Jewish holidays?
Did you have rock-
My weird Jewish holidays.
They're all miserable.
They're all
right?
weird. Your entire religion's weird.
Well, all his holidays are like, yeah, it's our holiday. Well, what do? We can't eat
Yeah, they're like they have to fast and then they have to like look at their family.
and feel shame.
Yeah.
So Wednesday was Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. It's supposed to be the holiest of days.
See, they're
and-
all like feeling sorry.
yeah, they're all just awful.
Oh, they're all.
You feel
the-
shitty.
all the other ones are fine. This one, you're not supposed to eat for 24 hours. And I used to have no problem doing this. I mean, like you get really kind of run down at the end. You're hungry and all, and thirsty, but it's not a huge deal. The last 2 hours kind of suck. But as of last year, I got really, really addicted to coffee. Partly my second child came, and I just need caffeine to survive the day these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year I did it, and it was kind of rough not having caffeine for the day, but it wasn't terrible. It was pretty rough. This year I got like insanely sick around 2 p.m. I started. Well, first off, I take in the morning. I take my kids to the playground, and I'm like, my wife, like, you can stay home. I got the kids. I take them to the playground. I come back, and my daughter's asleep in the car, and my wife gets my son out of the car. And at the same time we got back, there had been a power outage, and the power came back. Someone maybe 5 houses down, their house alarm was going off. It was just like, and I'm sitting in the freaking car. This thing is going on for hours, and for an hour and a half, my daughter's sleeping. I'm sitting in the car. We're going, I basically ended up getting really sick from this. I felt like it was in some kind of deprivation tank.
You were in the car for an hour and a half?
I'll give away government secrets right now.
What?
I don't even get that segue.
No, you were in the car for an hour and a half.
But I
What?
was
You
being, I
just
felt like I was
waiting?
being tortured by the car, the house alarm.
Oh, I see what you were still talking
Hey.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
What
just
were you guys
wondering.
doing?
What?
What you guys that's one to a different
No, I was just asking about the story, and then you were still finishing your bit, and I derailed that. That was my bad.
No, I
whatever.
was. We were on the same wavelength. I was just as confused as you.
Car for an hour. You were in the car for an hour and a half listening to this thing. Did you have to stay? You had
I
to
was
stay
just
there?
listening to this thing. Anyhow, by the time I got out, I just from not eating and not having the caffeine, it just made me sick. And I was like, this is the dumbest holiday ever. I was laying on the couch, not moving. My son's hitting me in the head, going, "Daddy, let's play." I'm like, I really don't feel good. He's like, "Daddy, play. I want to play, Daddy. I want to play." He keeps hitting me on the head, and I was like, I don't know why this is a holiday. But I also decided that if your house alarm goes off without an end and the police don't come, you should get a big fine, or you should be thrown in jail yourself. How do you have a system that just blares and blares with no purpose?
I think any of those car alarms and house alarms are useless in a city where everything is just pure noise anyway.
Yeah.
So it just serves to annoy everybody. If you no one's ever in the modern age ever heard an alarm being like, somebody better do something. except for shut
Yeah.
that thing off.
Well, it's also weird because if you're home, you're gonna know something's happening. If you're not home, you're not gonna hear the alarm. So it's like I don't get the
Right,
point.
but shouldn't it be linked to the police so the police come, or just like after a half hour, just shut off? It's not
Right.
like the robbers there going, well, if it's just off in a half hour, I'll resume breaking in.
Yeah, if the police don't come in a half hour, you lost. That's pretty much it.
Only expert robbers stick around to endure the annoyance.
Yeah.
I mean, the best part is
Giving
that the
away
house alarm's going
government
off. No one wants to go near the house, and then the robbers can just like do what they please. They're like, we bring earplugs and we can rob the whole house. It's great.
How you doing a beer? You want another one? Or?
Yes, I'll have another beer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mark, handle this for 30 seconds. I'm going to beer us.
So, what did you do this weekend?
I was like,
Oh,
making sure it's not baseball talk.
I got trashed on Friday, and it was bad. I can't drink anymore. I don't know what happened. Like I can't drink to excess to have fun anymore. I'm 27.
What was the occasion to like just going out with friends?
I was going out with my coworkers. I asked my boss for a raise, and he said
Yeah.
maybe, and I said good enough. Let's go drinking.
do
so-
you practice law now, or what do you do?
I work in like a business cash advance place, and I just like look up people that we might loan money to and just check to see if they're like criminals. So, not super exciting, but like pays the bills. And I was like, I'm saving you guys a lot of money. I should get some money, and that's what I said. And he's like, yeah, I think you probably. And he's like, I'll have to talk to you next week. And I was like, seemed okay. And so I was so hungover on Saturday that I woke up at 1 in the afternoon, and I just took ibuprofen and went back to sleep, and I woke up at 4 feeling okay. So like I just blew Saturday out the window, and I was kind of mad about that. But then again, like how am I supposed to have fun, Mom?
Yeah, exactly.
Stephen writes, Mark's son isn't into dinosaurs, right? Show the kid Jurassic Park. It'll blow him away.
He's not that into dinosaurs. Actually, we used to always go to the Natural History Museum, and I try to take him to dinosaurs, and he'd be like, "I don't," and you just get angry when we try to go to the dinosaurs. I think he was like, "No, I don't want to go to the dinosaur floor." I'd be like, "Fine, let's just," because there's a lot of other cool stuff you can see there, so we just never made it up there.
I don't think showing a 3-year-old dinosaurs is Jurassic Park is going to work out so well.
Yeah, I feel like that'll be like, oh, he's
original
not
is
going to sleep
scary.
ever again.
It is.
Great.
That would be like when I was I like 5? This guy across the street took me to see Gremlins. I had fucking nightmares for about 3 years.
Wait a second, this guy across the street when you were 5,
He was
he
like,
took me in his van. He was very sweet.
he was
Wait, the nightmares over Gremlins or what he did to you?
he was a few years older. He was like a neighborhood kid. Like,
Oh my god, this sounds awful.
he like came over for some reason. I thought it was the Brementown Musicians. I don't know why. I don't know if you know that story. It's a bunch of animals that play instruments and like travel around, and
Wait, what are
it
you talking
wasn't. I don't know. I thought the Gremlins was the Brementown Musicians. So I'm like, Dad, you gotta let me go see this movie. And it was the fucking Gremlins.
That's violent, isn't it? Like, don't they? I can't remember.
Yes,
So
they
they kill people, right?
Yeah, they kill. They turn into a cute little gizmo. At first, it's like cute little gizmo. Like,
Yeah.
this is a fun movie. And then they turns into this green monster and like ripping people apart. And,
They draw you in.
Yeah.
They draw you in and make you feel secure.
So did the dude make you blow him?
He was an older boy. He just kissed him on the mouth and sent him away.
How old was he?
I think he was like 5 years older.
Was he buff?
And I must have been older.
He just got out of prison. He'd been working out.
As soon as I got over that, my dad.
Of course, I'll put lotion on your body. Oh, down there? Sure.
As soon as I got over that, my dad showed me John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh,
And how old were you?
I don't know, 8. And
Okay.
that is the opening scene is like a dog's head like opening inside out and like an alien jumping
It's
out.
so
and-
creepy.
Yeah, so
John
basically,
John Carpenter's The Thing will get that gayness out of you from the older kid.
I had nightmares from like 5 through 12. It was fun.
I remember Pet Sematary giving me like nightmares.
oh, when that kid slashes the dude's like Achilles heel, that always made me cringe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was really bad.
My son gets scared of things pretty easily, so I don't think this would work out with him from Jurassic Park. There's like a princess show that like kids watch, and he was scared of the princess show, so he's not gonna like the dinosaur movie.
I'm glad
He started watching this show and it was like he's like oh I'm like great, it's a princess show. My son wants to watch a princess show. Wonderful. Then he got scared of it. He said the princess show was scary, and I was like, I don't know what's worse, my son watching the princess show or my son being too scared to watch the princess show.
Right. So we finally got the live show working correctly, and Ustream went down for maintenance.
Oh, so it's not working now?
No, we did everything right on our ends, but it's not working on Ustream's end. So we're done with that. Stephen Reich, The Darkness greater than X-Men.
The band Darkness?
That's
I don't
the
know
only
what that-
darkness I know.
Yeah, I don't know what the darkness is.
I believe in a thing called love. Is
Did he
bad.
ask that question last show?
I think so. Punisher.
You must know.
Punisher greater than X-Men?
Well, we did this exact same question.
I really like X-Men, so I'm just gonna say X-Men. I guess.
I'm like obsessed with X-Men.
I like
yeah.
the band.
I
Things
say wrong.
Dark
I like the
Knight.
band X-Men.
Is there any way I could formally sell my soul to the Negaverse? Yes, you can send all your jewels and money
to the Dave from the Illuminati. He'll talk to the God of Life for you.
So, so if he offered to give you or sell you his soul, would you give him a T-shirt for his soul?
Yeah. Oh, it would be like that Simpsons episode.
Yeah, where Homer
Bart sells
his
his soul.
I thought it was Homer sold his soul.
No, Bart sold his soul to Millhouse.
Oh,
And remember, Millhouse is like in the sandbox, and he's like playing with like a piece of paper that says Bart's soul. Oh, classic Simpsons. Yeah, if you want to mail me your soul,
If you mail us something that says your soul on it, Jay will send you a T-shirt.
There you go. How do you guys feel about turning Brink to a cult? This is getting dark. How does
Who wrote this question?
Steven?
Oh, it's still Steven.
How
this
does
guy.
how does Chosen of the Negaverse sound? Like, it sounds pretty.
Could
cool.
we be Illuminati?
We can't. The guy won't call us back.
Fuck, you won't call us back. This is so annoying. I was so excited for this.
We were rejected by the Illuminati. That sucks.
Unbelievable.
I was ready to get nude and like stab myself with a dagger.
Do you guys?
I was really excited for this.
I bought a goat just for this moment, and I cannot sacrifice it now. Steven writes, do you guys have all 4 of your wisdom teeth?
I do not.
I do not.
I have 0.
Mine were removed because they were going to be impacted.
Yes.
3 of mine were removed, and they couldn't find the 4th one. So hopefully they never do.
It was probably in the quadrant that wasn't the other 3.
Well, they couldn't find it. It never came in. Or
Okay.
I didn't have that much wisdom.
What if they find it in somebody else's skull?
Mr. Kaplan, we found your wisdom tooth. It's in China in a man's skull. We've got you now.
Thanks, I guess. I don't want my tooth.
Can I have it?
I can chew food all right, I think.
If you guys were to spend some time in jail to a bar fight or a ticket or whatever, things happen.
So Jay, you're filtering questions. You're reading this one.
How would they defend themselves from being asked?
What the hell?
Asking the hard questions. How would they defend themselves? You know, I gotta say, the best defense is a good offense, man.
Yeah, I think you got to fill that shit up with something else first.
Yeah.
A rolled up newspaper. Mark's wife. It's hot. Like, this is why I skip questions. All right, you want to know why I skip questions? This is why I skip questions. All right, this is an example of a question I would skip. I'm gonna read it to show you why I skip some. Mark, wife, it's hot, like really sexy MILF style. How does Mark feel about all the men that must be trying to holler at his wife?
That makes sense.
It
It
got
started
back on
really
the
rough.
rails,
It
yeah.
started really rough,
Yeah,
but that makes
it got
sense.
back on the rails after a while.
Dustin, if you were going to answer, what would you say?
I would say, me Mark, me hot style, sexy MILF for me only. You go away.
And
And then you beat him on the head with your club.
Yeah.
that sounds good. That's my answers.
And then you drag your wife by the hair into your cave. Why are black people obsessed with sneakers like Jordan and Nike? My friend has about 86 pairs, and I know about 3 guys who have numbers like that.
I know a few guys like that. They just, I don't know. They just like showing them off. It's like a status. It's like some dudes like cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it's like cars, only lame.
It's only only you gotta walk on them.
Yeah.
Mr. Illuminati.
It's like cars, only nobody's impressed.
Should I write Mr. Illuminati? Why are black people obsessed with sneakers?
That's a fair question.
Yeah. Harry writes, have you guys ever went to someone else's apartment and been disgusted by the way he lives or something they saw? I went to my friend's house with no periods in any of this the other day, and when I went to the bathroom, I saw a tissue with a huge shit stain. It was wet, so I guess he forgot to flip it around.
Flip it around?
Do you use shit tissues?
Okay.
Yeah, break this down.
What?
All right. First of all, he thinks that an ass wipe tissue, the best way to take care of that is to flip it. If it would have been flipped around, he would have been okay.
But since it
Don't
wasn't
He's
you
flipped-
like,
know
dude,
you
you went out to
flipped
his
the
friends. He's like,
ass
hey man, you should have
upside
flipped that
down.
around.
Bro, I gotta have some straight talk with
You gotta flip your tissues.
You gotta
bro.
flip the shit tissues around.
Etiquette 101. Shit on the floor.
So
Tissue,
yeah, if
clean
this guy
tissue,
saw
yeah.
shit on the floor of his friend's house, he'd be like, put that under the rug or something. What are you doing?
Yo, dude, I want to use your used tissues to wipe myself, and I found the shit side.
And this shit wasn't even flipped.
Never touch shits, bro. It's totally gay.
You're such a bad host. You don't even flip your shit tissues. This is probably my favorite question we've ever gotten.
Harry Quinn's like killing it with the questions
Wait.
today.
Yeah, seriously.
Could you read that question again, please?
I don't think he can, man.
Just please read it again. I don't understand the question.
Mark or Jay ever went to some else apartment and been disgusted by the way he lives or something else they saw? I went to my friend's house the other day, and when I went to use the bathroom, I saw a tissue with a huge shit stain. It was wet, so I guess he forgot to flip it around.
Listen, I get when you're gonna have a dry shit stain up, but if it's wet, it's gotta be facing down.
Yeah, if it's dry, leave it where it's at. But if it's wet, flip that shit. Come on, man. Okay, to answer your question, Harry, no, I've never been in that situation.
Wait, go to Jay's bathroom now.
My girlfriend just came up and guaranteed she flipped all those shit tissues.
I would say though, if you decide you're living with a girl and you want to end the relationship, go shit side up.
I think I told you I lived with a guy who never washed his socks or underwear. He would just throw them in his closet at the end of the day. And when I moved out, he had a 4-foot pile of dirty socks and underwear.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, did he keep wearing them or just like put them
No.
on a pile and bought new ones?
Yeah, he put them in a pile of bought new ones. He wouldn't throw them out, and he wouldn't do laundry. So there was a 4-foot pile of boxers and socks.
Did you ever have a conversation about this?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I said, why would you do that? And he was making, like, this was in, like, 2001. And he was making, like, $1,000 a week. And
Okay.
he felt obligated to spend $1,000. He didn't want to have savings. He didn't have any debt.
That's crazy.
So he's
Why
like,
did he not want savings?
I don't know. He's like, I'm gonna spend $1,000 a week, and since I have this extra money, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna buy socks and underwear every day.
Holy shit!
This guy knows how to live large, man.
He also had sex with a girl and left the dirty condom on his floor for like months, and then he had another girl over, and it was still there, and he still ended up having sex with her. I'm like, who is this girl who's like stepping over a dirty used condom on the floor and like still sleeping with this guy?
She's
Well, I
pretty
know he
great.
doesn't have an STD because his used condoms are on the floor.
Yeah, he's a safe guy.
My friends used to have a roommate who he would piss them off so much just by the way he lived because he would always eat down in his room and he would keep all the dishes in his room and he would put them in drawers. He would hide them. And then
What?
he put all in another drawer. He had a dresser with like 4 drawers. Top drawer, all the dishes and forks. Second drawer was like some dirty laundry, not nothing that important. Third drawer, all condoms, all used condoms. Can't get rid of those. You're gonna need those for later.
Jesus.
He was so weird. I could tell he was really weird because one time we were just hanging out in the living room and we were just like, eating. And he grabs a full bag of chips from the kitchen and he opens it, but he doesn't open it like you would pull the two ends. He opened it and tore the whole bag like longwise. So he just fucked up an entire bag of chips to just have a few chips.
And he didn't like mow down on the whole bag.
No, he didn't. He had a couple of chips and he goes, "These chips are disgusting." And then he kept eating a little bit more of them. That was my favorite part.
Do you have do you guys have like a where are they now? Because I'd love to know what happened to Chip guy and what happened to I buy socks every week guy.
I am friends with him on Facebook, and I am also friends with my other roommate who quit his job to drink a bottle of Jim Beam every day.
Lemmy from Motorhead?
Same apartment.
Wow, what an apartment you had there.
There was 3, and all 3 were like I couldn't even pick like the worst one.
Why did he quit? He quit his job to become an alcoholic, or I mean, obviously already an alcoholic.
Yeah, well, at first he was like,
Nobody tries to become an alcoholic. It just happens.
yeah, at first he was like, dude, I'm having a hard time like coming home from work without a drink, and he would come home with like McDonald's and a bottle of Jim Beam, and then he was like, dude, halfway home I found a Subway stop with a bar right there, so I get off, I have a beer, and then I and then I come home, Jim Beam and McDonald's. And then he started coming home with Jim Beam and a bag of Doritos. And then he started coming home with a bottle of Jim Beam and a 6-pack. And then he just said, fuck it, I'm not going to work anymore. And he just woke up and drank the Jim Beam.
And how was the funeral?
He gained like 30 pounds over the course of like 3 months. And I had a job where I worked early, so I got home at like 4, and he would be like red-eyed, stumbly drunk by the time I got home. It was absolute insanity. And this was not the guy who left his underwear and socks in the closet.
That guy was cool.
So what are they doing now? Like, can you get from their Facebook profiles? Can you get a sense of
He's married with a kid.
the guy drinking Jim Beam every day?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, fuck.
That's a good bounce back.
All
That's
of
pretty
my
good.
fuck up friends. I lived with this guy who swore he had a pound puppy that talked to him, and
He's in Congress now.
He's married with a kid. I don't understand.
You feel like married with a kid. I mean, I guess it could be just like I fucked up and got some girl pregnant, but it always sounds like, oh, okay, they figure their shit out.
Yeah, when you say married with a kid, it does. I picture like the white picket fence and like the.
I mean, they're
House
living
or-
like a semi-normal life, and like when I knew them, they were absolute maniacs. The other guy I lived with, who drank alone by himself and to the point of barfing literally every single day, he's married right now too.
Did they say like profession? Like, what's he do now?
Professional drinking champion.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Apparently enough to like support like a wife and a house and a kid.
Is the guy that bought socks every day? Is he rich? I'll never ever have to I'll never have to do laundry again. I just throw out clothes every day.
I don't know. Harry writes, did you guys went to see the Pope?
Nope.
If not, are you guys going to hell?
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
I'm probably going to hell despite seeing the Pope. or
Yeah, there's
not.
many reasons I'm going to hell.
You know, here's what I don't get with the whole Pope thing. Is that this is like a more liberal Pope than other popes. He has some messages about like poverty, about like the
Helping out gay
environment.
people.
People, yeah. So he comes here, he says this stuff.
Yep.
No one that didn't like listen to him is gonna listen to him. No one has any plans of taking anything he's saying seriously. Everyone in Congress or like our political leaders are all like, "That's great, old man. We're so happy to have you here. Now we're gonna not act on anything you said."
So you're saying like he's not getting any new recruits. He's just like the people who are for him are for him.
Well, if you really believe he's this messenger from God, is that what the Pope is supposed to be like your
He's like God's right hand man.
Yeah.
God? If you
Yeah.
really believe that, you would say anything he's saying to you, God is basically saying, and you'd be like, "Wow, we got to act on this shit because we really believe in religion."
Mm-hmm.
But no one believes in this shit. If you really believed in it, then you would take what he's saying seriously. But none of these people really believe in anything he's saying.
They
And I
believe
mean, I
in
think
it
the whole
when
thing's a
it
joke. But
fits their point of view.
it's just like if it's against my point of view, I'm just not going to believe it. But I'm really religious, and this whole religion thing is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's just so stupid because people are like, "Oh, I really believe in it," except when I disagree with it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't really exist. And if the Pope's going to disagree with me, well, he's a crazy old man.
Yeah, you can always spin that shit. People have been doing that since forever. People always just like
Yeah.
go with whatever.
So why is there any fanfare that he's coming here? People are like, oh, okay, we don't believe this Pope, so let's stop pretending we give a shit.
Right.
I mean, everybody just got together and said that he's somebody, and so now like he's got to meet the president because like he represents a bunch of people apparently. If everybody just stopped like believing the thing they did and just did a different thing, we could just elect anybody to be a president or like the new Pope. If we could just get everybody to agree with something at once. That kind of blows my mind. If we could just change everybody's mind about like one thing, if everybody's just like, yeah, this Catholicism thing, not for me. I'm just gonna, elect like Tom down the street to be the next pope. See what he has to say.
Well, here's the thing. So if let's say Jesus really came back, and whether you're believing Christian or not, like they said, like this is really Jesus. Anything he said, you take pretty fucking seriously, right?
Yeah,
If he's really back from the
did come
dead,
back.
and you really like, oh, he's really his God's son. Fuck it, I'm gonna take anything he says seriously, and so you'd be really believing it. But people who were like,
People who would see Jesus though, and if he was like, you gotta love gay people, they'd be like, fuck that, I'm not a queer. There'd still be people
Yeah,
that
I
would
feel
just
like-
be
I
like,
feel like
fuck Jesus.
Fuck you, Jesus.
Yeah.
We're
if
gonna
the
crucify
real
you
Jesus
again.
came back and said we all have to fuck kangaroos, we'd all be fucking kangaroos. You'd be like, oh, this is serious now.
No, I think there's some people who would be like, fuck you, Jesus. We're gonna.
Well,
crucify
Infowars
you."
would be like, oh, this whole Jesus thing's a hoax.
I don't understand why that would be resisted because like it's a win-win. Jesus comes back plus you get to fuck a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah,
do
I mean,
people...
who does not want be inside a marsupial?
Exactly, and not just some pouch action.
But I just find it weird because people say like, I'm really a believer, but no one's really a believer because the person you claim to be God's man, you're only going to really listen to if he already goes with your worldview. And the people that are true believers, everyone thinks is crazy. Anyone that's really like, I'm all in for whatever religion says, everyone thinks is basically not.
I think you have to be crazy to be all in on everything
Yeah.
that religion says that you should do. Like the Bible's crazy. Like if you take the whole thing and you're like, I'm gonna do every single thing the Bible says,
You'd be a mass
you
murderer.
would be a fucking crazy
Yeah.
idiot. You'd be in jail.
You'd be throwing
go to
stones
jail.
at people's heads. And,
Yeah,
like,
you would be like killing people or not, depending on what you were reading.
I guess why are people into it in the first place? If you're like, everyone picks and chooses whatever they feel like believing, then why do people like go like, oh, okay, it's all make believe anyway. Why do we go with this?
Well, it's because like it's how you're raised. Like when it's hard to like get out from under what you came up as.
Yeah,
a kid.
it really is like cult almost.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
to,
There's a
like,
lot
when
of
something's
peer
been like
pressure.
driven in your head, and then you live in like a society, and by that I mean like I don't know, like whatever your village in Kansas is that says like you got to be this way.
Yeah, if you're surrounded by everyone who's doing that,
That's
like,
your support system.
Yeah,
There's some people that all they do is they get together and they just like talk about God. That's all they do. Mm-hmm. And so like if that's all you have and that's all you've ever adapted yourself to do, like going somewhere else and figuring shit out yourself is like horrifying. That's like
Yeah.
the scariest thing in the world.
Name a time when you guys were really depressed and what made you feel that way.
Like last week, like
Any-
all the time.
Any time in the last 10 years.
There was recently I did not get into the Illuminati.
I felt really depressed on Thursday. I biked up the West Side Highway to go do a spot at the Comedy Dungeon, which is a youth hostel, and they had 3 people, and it was like 3 dudes who was like, who gives a shit, and then it was me, and I was like, I didn't eat anything, and I was too hungry, and I didn't put enough into my set. And I kind of got a new bit out of it, but I didn't give him everything. And then I went, you go through the spiral of like, what's the point of this? Why did I just do that? I could have just easily have not done that. That sort of thing. There's nothing funny there. That's just truth, guys.
No, I had like everyone's like, my wife and I, we have a good marriage, but every once in a while we have the dumbest fights. And we had like a fight this morning. We're going to the Bronx Zoo, and basically just about whether we need to bring a second stroller for my son who's 4. And I'm like, he can walk. He doesn't need a second stroller. And she's like, he gets tired. We need a stroller for him. And this erupted into a big fight. And it's like the dumbest thing to possibly fight about. And I'm like, why are we fighting about this? Why am I having a whole thing? I'm just like feeling like I was feeling bad about the whole thing. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
So you're depressed when you're walking around with like an empty stroller and your son's like perfectly like walking around on his own.
It was also like my cousin now lives lives right near the Bronx Zoo, and she's like, oh, she doesn't really live as close as she says. She says she's across the street, but I bet she's a mile away. You're wrong. And I'm like, She said she's a block away. She's probably a block away. And then we're looking at the map. I'm like, look, it's right here. And she's like, well, you weren't going to park near there. I'm like, I was going to park near there. What are you talking about? And we have this whole ridiculous fight about and she's also just scared. We're going in the Bronx, and she's like, see, it's dangerous here. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Kill her.
She's like, don't take your phone out. Like, you're gonna get robbed. Like, it's 1 p.m. Like, right next to the Bronx Zoo. I think I'm fine. So
right.
again, not really funny either. But it was just.
But
like
it's just dodge. You got to vent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like just dumb. You get into like I feel like sometimes you get into like just a dumb argument with someone, and you can't get out of it until like just. Then like later in the day, we're like totally fine, but you're stuck in that argument for a little while. That's my depressing moment.
All right. Bring
Jay?
this down like 5 notches. My depressing moment, I think I was walking home from school last week, and I realized I hated every class I've ever taken, and I'm going to hate all the rest of them, and then I'm going to have a degree in a field that I don't like, and then probably get a job in a field that I hate, and that's my future. Unless this podcast picks up, so tell your friends, folks.
Save Jason.
Yes.
Save him
Yeah.
from his life.
How do you feel, Jay, about the fact that like one day you'll have a job doing this thing that you
Oh,
love?
well, depressed. That's the topic we're talking about now. All right, let's do speed round because we've gone long, and I'm assuming you have a job, Dustin.
I do have a job. I was going to pick
Can't
up a
keep
spot
going,
at the
mate.
Pear, but that's not going to happen. Whatever.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Pear.
No, who cares?
All right, speed round. This is more fun,
Yeah, it's better.
and you're going to be exposed to hundreds of people.
Hundreds. The Illuminati.
The Illuminati apparently are listening.
Despite what we say, we actually do have hundreds of listeners. When Jay wins the election,
Are you bragging, Jay?
No, I'm not, because it should be thousands, and I'm pissed that it's not. When Jay wins the election, will he bring fans the best government jobs? Think about it. Together, we could fuck up an entire country. Yeah, I think Brink fans will get the first shot. Why not? I mean, every other person who gets elected puts their friends in office.
Yeah.
Why should
I
it be any
choose to be the Secretary of Pussy, so keep me in mind.
Yeah, I would love to make up all these different secretaries.
When you
Yeah.
when you say pussy, do you mean young cats?
I do mean that and underage girls.
I think the guy from Subway got you beat for that one.
That's true. Oh, Jared.
Guys, just watching the documentary Cowspiracy, opinions on it, and opinions on vegans. Have you guys ever met a vegan?
I know a vegan. I'm a good friend with a vegan.
Right, because they tell you about it all the time.
Yeah, so I know exactly. He's a comic. I shit on
You
him
never
all the time.
not know someone's a vegan.
Exactly. Within there's 2 people you meet that you know within 5 seconds: a vegan and somebody who doesn't have cable TV.
And a lesbian.
And a lesbian. Yes.
The cows. So I saw this question. I was just like, I just checked the page last night. I saw I haven't seen this movie Cowspiracy, but I looked up the. It's all about how eating cows is what's ruining the planet. Apparently, this is leading to all the problems we have with the environment are really linked to us eating cows.
Okay. I'm sure that's.
Is it like? What do you think?
Well, they're basically saying that industrial farming, the cows emit more greenhouse gases than anything else we do, supposedly, and that was the issue really.
so we got to kill him and eat him.
But
too much greenhouse.
because we're so into our diet of eating cows that we're really just ruining the environment. We don't want to change this habit.
I can believe that. I guess. Does that mean that we're gonna be vegans?
I'm not eating fucking kale chips ever. So you guys.
You could eat black beans every day and be happy.
Mark literally eats black beans every day.
You eat black beans. That's not bad.
It's really tasty, actually.
good
Every
for
day
you.
I have the Mexican Fiesta myself.
Greg writes.
I was at the supermarket, and the supermarket near me had it was 3 cans of black beans for $2. I bought 67 cans because that was all they had available. I got to the checkout. The woman was like, "What the fuck?" Some woman behind me was mouthing something to maybe her husband in Spanish, and then they changed lines.
That's amazing.
67 cans of black beans. That's so fucking. That's. Oh man.
And I would have. The only reason I didn't buy more is because they didn't have more.
What do you hope to gain?
I hope to eat them. I just don't want to have to keep going back to I eat them 4 to 5 times a week at least. and I don't want to have to keep going back to the store. And it was a really good deal. 66 cents a can is like, for
This is
me,
a true
I'm like,
story.
wow, that's awesome. You
I
pay up to $1 a can.
I just
I'm
saw-
saving like $44 on 100.
saw a documentary called Black Bean Conspiracy. It's how people who buy too many cans of black beans are ruining the country.
Beanspiracy.
Beanspiracy.
That's bullshit. You know, just like a vegan, someone eats black beans every day because they tell you.
Exactly.
All right, speed round. Did you guys listen to Michael Jackson's music? What's your favorite song music video?
Thriller, I
The
guess.
Man in the Mirror.
Ooh.
Thriller is the best video. Absolutely.
Thriller's a good video.
I like that video where he's it's like almost like stop motion and he's like going on that like I can't even think of it.
Well, you described nothing. Go on.
Yeah, I know. There's also that video where he's sexually harassing that girl the entire video.
Oh, but she's safe.
Yeah.
'Cause you know it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go Man with the Mirror though. I like that. This one is from Mark and Jay. Do you think they'll mention Brink at your funeral?
No,
No.
unless Jay's at my funeral.
Stephen writes, Hillary Duff is the sexiest woman alive. I strongly disagree with that.
Really?
Good question, Steven. That I remember when I was like growing up, I was like 17 and my friend was like, Hillary Duff is the sexiest woman alive, and he showed me like the picture that you posted, and there's no way she's that good looking now.
Right.
Um,
But even then, it's
even
like,
then, it's like,
I posted a picture of Olivia Munn.
would I hit it?
That's-
Yes.
that's way better.
Holy shit, that's retarded good.
Yeah, she's way better. Olivia Munn, there you go.
You will Hillary Duff be upset that you won't hit her, Jay? I hope she gets asked down the red carpet.
What has she
There's a
done
local
recently when she's on the
podcast
red
called
carpet?
There's a local podcast called Brink of Sanity where one of the hosts claims he would not hit you. What do you think about that? And he means fucking, not physically hitting.
Stephen writes, is Jay sexually attracted to Muppets? No, but I did get an erection when I heard there was a new Muppet show airing.
Did you watch the new Muppet Show, Jay?
Of course.
And could you give your review for the show?
I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Why only
Did
8.5?
you guys watch the new
I
Muppet
did not
show?
see it. I saw a lot of outrage about how like Kermit got a more sexy pig girlfriend.
I was happy he dumped
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he dumped Miss Piggy. He got a hotter pig girlfriend.
People were so like anyway, feminists were up in arms about it, apparently. And I think that's so fucking funny because for one, they're like it's an interspecies relationship, and two, they're puppets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like there's
exactly.
like 2 degrees of things that you are like even like more not okay than switching girlfriends.
Yeah, I think your anger is sort of misdirected.
Who gets outraged over this crap?
The internet in general.
I thought they had like a round table. It's kind of filmed like The Office, so they had a round table where they're like discussing things. There was a lot of jokes; those are really good. The fact that Animal was allowed to like somehow he learned to form full sentences, which I thought was kind of weird. They asked them about like women on tour when he's touring, and he's like, too many cities, too many women, and I'm like, shouldn't he just scream woman, woman? Like,
Yeah.
.
Animal as like an unabashed psychopath was the best.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was a little weird. But overall, I thought it was very good. How does Jay ask his girlfriend? How often does Jay ask his girlfriend to dress up like a Muppet? I don't. Has Jay masturbated to Miss Piggy? I hate fucking Miss Piggy.
Would you role play with your girl, or with her being what character would she be, and what character would you be?
They'd both be mailmen.
What if we were doing what, a Muppet role play?
Yeah, you do role play. Who would she be, and who would you be?
I guess she would be Janice, and I would be Floyd. They're both in the band. The hippie band.
Okay.
Yeah, you have no idea what they're like.
Over my head.
How does Dustin stay so slim?
Bike everywhere. Don't have transportation, just bike everywhere.
There you go.
Good for you.
Those are our questions. We did it.
For the week.
We did it, folks. So we've run long, so I don't think we should do another segment now.
There was to be another segment.
No, we're not doing another segment. Do you have anything you want to plug, Dustin?
Catch me and my best bros at the Grizzly Pair, 107 McDougal Street in Manhattan, the West Village, every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday night. around 9:30.
Nice.
I can vouch. I've seen Dustin. He's hilarious.
Thank you, man.
Saw him. Mark, I told you I went to the Comedy Cellar a week after I went with you.
Yeah. You told me he was pretty funny.
Yeah. I jumped into the Grizzly Pear, saw Dustin. He was hilarious. So, do that. If you're a New York City resident, check him out. Do you have a Twitter or anything?
I have a Facebook, but you can only friend me. So if you want to be my friend, go find me. That's
Do you
all.
do you feel the need as doing comedy that you have to try to be big on other mediums? Like you have to make a funny Twitter page, make your Facebook account funny, or anything else?
I haven't felt strongly about that as much as I've felt about stuff like this, where people invite you on to do actual content creation. Because here's the thing with stand-up comedy. Most stand-up comedy is where they put their A stuff, and then everything on Facebook and Twitter is their B, C, D material, which is shit. And so if you follow somebody on Twitter, it's usually their funny thought of the day, which is not vetted, and
Right.
a lot of the time, why are you bothering me with this ridiculous pun? That's not the case for all comics, but I think for a lot of them,
The majority, yeah.
the majority, you're just going to get a lot of stuff and a lot of ball washing.
Also, if you do something on Twitter, can you still do it in your act?
Yeah, I think a lot of comics, they use Twitter as a way to see if a joke is funny based on how many likes they got, which is a strange scientific process.
Yeah, it really is.
For finding out
a text joke, translating to spoken word.
Especially if comedy's so dependent on performance.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Maybe I'm an old man, but I think it comes down to how well you do on stage, and then when you can actually provide substance to people. So I'm not motivated about Twitter right now. I'll probably start a page sometime in the future, but for now it's I'm just getting out there trying to get better.
Well, if you do, let us know. We'll plug it.
Thanks, guys.
In the meantime, we're Brink of Sanity 3, the bane of my goddamn existence.
Why not 1, Jay? Jay, maybe that's why. Maybe the Illuminati guy didn't call because he saw we were number 3, not number 1.
We were Brink of Sanity, and then I started the Knicks podcast, so I decided to combine the two. So I changed the name, and I realized Knicks and comedy have separate audiences, so I tried to go back to Brink of Sanity, and it was somebody took it.
Oh,
So now I'm Brink of Sanity 3.
they'll probably sell it to you for $1,000.
I've been emailing him. He won't fucking answer. He tweeted 3 times and disappeared off the face of the earth. Fucking asshole. Anyway, 631-676-1181 if you want to leave us a voicemail. thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. Subscribe on iTunes and Ustream. And what else? Leave a review on iTunes.
Yes.
Yes.
And go to the Prickly Pear on Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday.
Grizzly Pear.
Grizzly Pear.
Grizzly Pear.
Who cares?
What'd I say?
107. Yeah, Prickly Pear. Who cares? Go there.
All right.
All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back, I don't know, next week, right? We're doing this weekly?
I don't know if Illuminati's gonna be back with us. We may have blown it. Apparently, my how erect I was not appealing to him.
Didn't you email him 7 times during the show?
Oh my god, I kept emailing the guy. He didn't reply to one of the emails. Fucking A.
He stopped replying to mine, too.
I don't know why yet. He had to text me. What's gonna happen? He's gonna text me. I think he's gonna send me some virus to my phone. That's why I didn't want to have give him my actual
I think
number.
he's so fucking awkward he can't handle a phone conversation.
That might be right.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back. Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. This is the end. Say goodbye. I'm gonna leave.